Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
Steve P. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
You know, it's a shame nothing happened this weekend. What a boring weekend for Leaf fans.
How is this our first show since the trade?
I know. Well, it's not your first show. You did one video and then two recap videos, like LFRs. And then Jesse did a Jesse Blake Sports Report. Oh, you did the stream too for Sportsnet. Right.
And Jesse did you were the only non-baked member of the two of us, or the three of us, sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you did it. Should we go through that?
No.
Furious debate in my basement?
We're not going through that yet.
No?
We need to start the show with, does Kyle Dubas listen to the SDP? I present to you Article 1. Kyle Dubas discussing trades and trading draft picks.
Know the prospects and what they're about. We're with prospects, mostly because we know the prospects and what they're about. We're with them every day, and the picks are a little bit like the mystery box. You can have the mystery box, you can have the prospects. So
hold on. You have a choice. You can have the boat or the mystery box.
What, are you crazy? We'll take the boat.
No, not so fast, Lois. A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat.
See? I feel like he's listening.
Here's what I feel like. Dubas is roughly our age.
And consumes pop culture
and probably
you think Dubas watches Family Guy when he's like tweeting about the Chinese farmer?
He's not a robot, Adam. Like, he's a human being.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he's seen Family Guy.
I'm gonna Google right now.
Is Kyle Dubas a robot?
How old?
Isn't he 38?
I need to know,
37?
Is Kyle Dubas older than Mark Giordano? Because has Dubas ever been GM of a Leafs team where there wasn't a player older than him?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
No,
He is
Jason
37. November 29th, 1985.
Yeah, so he would have grown up with this era of Family Guy.
Yeah. And like, that's an early episode of Family Guy. That was the original Family Guy. Then it got canceled. Mm-hmm. Then they brought it back. This is DVD box set Family Guy.
First 3 seasons?
It was with 3 or 4.
Yeah. No, they had 3 seasons and then they were canceled and then they brought it back.
Yeah.
And I remember that box set was like making the rounds at Mowat. You'd have to like trade several DVDs for it.
Yeah.
My God.
What's her face wasn't even Meg yet, probably.
Alex Borstein?
No, Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis. Sorry. Yeah.
Alex Borstein's Lois.
That's right. That's right. I think after the first season, it was Mila Kunis.
First season?
After the first season. Second season was Mila Kunis.
This isn't first season, so
yeah. I have to say, the other thing I want to say is Ryan O'Reilly doesn't know his water bottles in Toronto yet. Did you see this?
Yes.
I've got that. I've got it queued up for you there, Jesse.
It was actually really unfortunate.
It really is. So I guess
it's from the broadcast, but is it a still image or?
We can make it a still image, I think, or maybe I should just leave it. But anyway,
I'll show the image.
Long story short, Ryan, some water bottles have water, some water bottles have Gatorade, and
BioSteel. How dare you?
Excuse me.
The Rogers representatives will be very upset.
That's right. That's right.
BioSteel in every bottle.
BioSteel.
Anyway, yeah. So I think he didn't know which one was. And then the funny part was the trainer handed him another bottle, and it also had Gator Steel in it.
Oh, no, that one had water.
Did it?
Yeah, the second one is Steel.
Yeah, because he had to rinse out like
again, especially this. Look at this during warm-up.
Like, look,
still getting used to the labels on the water bottles, and then trying to cool himself off. He realizes, wait a second, that's not clear. That's pink. I just sprayed myself with BioSteel.
That one's also BioSteel.
And is able to hose himself down properly. So well hydrated ahead of his debut. For this one, that it's a lot to take in, especially.
It's been so uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, I was thinking there. He's standing there at the national anthem with sticky hair. And sticky fingers. You know, you probably want to wash your hands after that.
And beard and equipment. And like he felt that way the rest of the game.
Hello, marketing people of BioSteel.
This is your chance.
Right now, new hashtag. Take the BioSteel challenge. Get Leafs fans to pour BioSteel on their head.
Hey, marketing genius Jesse Blake.
Free tip.
Wow.
Well, you're welcome.
I like that.
Was it okay? Hey. Less of the free. All right.
So yeah, we
Call
need to
me.
be charging for these genius ideas. I want
$1 million.
What if people just drench themselves in our product?
Before we talk about where we were and what happened and break down the trade, Jesse and Steve, I have a spelling bee for you. Spell, and don't look at your computer, Jesse. O'Reilly.
O apostrophe R, and this is where it gets tricky. EILLY.
Okay, Jesse, spell O'Reilly.
Steve, do you believe that Morgan is EI or Ryan is EI?
So a long time ago, and I wish I remembered this Twitter user, but when the Leafs had Riley and Reimer, they tweeted me, I before E unless he plays G.
I like that.
And that's how I learned Riley was RIE.
Mm-hmm. So that means Ryan O'Reilly is REI.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 L's and a Y?
2 L's. 2 L's and a Y.
Hold on. I'm just making sure. I'm just checking.
You didn't have the answer?
No, I did. I just want to. I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know. I just want to make sure. And you guys are correct. OREILLY.
Let's go.
I before E unless he plays C.
There you go.
There you go. And
I really need that person to tweet at me because that was a very long time ago.
Now, Morgan Riley is what then?
What?
How do you spell Morgan Riley?
It's RIELLY.
Okay. You were unsure about that second L, too.
Yeah, because you really sprung it on
That's
me.
right. Absolutely, I did. Okay, so for those who are not Leaf fans or whatever, this is unquestionably the biggest trade since 2004, at least at the trade deadline.
At least at the trade deadline.
At very least the trade deadline. And the Leafs, you have to remember, we grew up and we were conditioned on the Leafs making a big move every trade deadline.
Yeah.
So, like,
looking back, because people were debating, holy shit, yeah, every year was fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the first real fireworks trade we've seen since then. And that, by the way, was Brian Leetch leaving the New York Rangers and coming to play for the Leafs. Who did he sign with afterwards, Steve?
The Boston Bruins.
That's
it's even more heartbreaking than that. They traded for Leetch with a year left on his deal, but the year left was 04-05, which there was no NHL season.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a Leaf for 2 seasons.
He just walked.
Okay, now, I'm not convinced that I'm now convinced that trades breaking directly after a show is posted is Dubas punishing us for not believing after the first week this season.
At 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock at night.
On a Friday.
Something Leaf fans...
Of a long weekend.
Like the Leafs do most of their shopping in the summer. It's kind of cool to have that energy injected into the lineup. But where were you both? Because Jesse, you were at hockey, were you not? You were playing?
Yeah, I was on the ice till about 11 because we got to play long. Steve, you missed hockey on Friday.
Damn it!
We got to spend an extra 20 minutes on the ice, so we were on till like 11:20. So I didn't hear about the trade until I came off like 11:30.
Did you have enough people to play 5-on-5?
Yeah, so no, one line change was 4-on-4, and then the next one was 5-on-5.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty good.
Because sometimes we only have enough for threes, and that sounds like torture, actually.
No, it's brutal.
Okay, yeah, 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's good. Fine. Yeah, so I was like delayed by, I don't know, an hour, because it happened at like 10:50 or something.
And Steve, where were you?
Lucky. I was in my basement next to Adam. Hi.
Now, there was a debate, Jesse. I need you to know that about Steve going, should I just do it?
No.
And I said, no, you shouldn't. And his
wife was pro just do it.
But Steve's wife said no.
No. And again, her and you, same opinion. Go figure.
We do get along pretty good.
Yeah.
I mentioned off the top of my video at Friday morning, I guess, or Friday night, that you couldn't do one because you were baked. And a lot of people in the comments were like, that's the video we want.
Yeah.
Right. You say that.
But maybe one day.
That's not what you want.
No, you say that.
You don't know what you want, and it's not that.
I can guarantee you don't want that.
It was quite the experience, because, like, why was the TV on? What were we watching?
We were watching the NBA All-Star celebrity competition.
And then it ended.
Yeah.
And then the ticker comes across the screen. I think you were the first one to realize it. You went, holy shit, the Leafs just got Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And I looked up, And I could tell I was baked because my first thing was, yeah, but is it from a verified account? And then a little voice in my head said, it's the television, Steve. It's verified.
And the second thing I said was text Jesse now. He doesn't. I wonder if he knows, because like you've been calling this for weeks.
Yeah.
But also he's been calling it on the show for weeks. He's like, I think they should get Ryan O'Reilly. Apparently Dubas agreed.
You talked me into it because I remember being sort of cold on it at first. But I like it, man. I like it. I don't know if we're getting into it.
Just before we leave this conversation, did you have to talk Steve out of doing the video idea?
Oh yeah.
Were you adamant about it?
Not only it was like a 10-minute discussion between
Natalie goes, have a coffee.
Oh no.
I was like, Nat, sure.
That's not
and then
I almost did it.
And then Steve tweets out, yeah, I can't do it tonight, I'm baked. And then forgot that he tweeted it. And then said, you probably don't remember this. And then you're like, even though you tweeted it out, because we're like, okay, if you tweet out that you're baked, then everybody's gonna know, and everybody's gonna be like, okay, I'll wait for it tomorrow. And then there's gonna be some finality to it. You're not gonna be tempted to do it. Because I was worried, not while we were there, but when we left. And then so Steve tweets it, and then he puts his phone down, and we're watching the breakdown of the trade coverage, and he goes, man, I think I gotta do it. And we're like, Steve, you already tweeted that you can't do it. And he's like, oh, you're right. I forgot. I was jacked. I know, and it's exciting. It's exciting, and I'm glad that we have other people at this network who can handle it in the meantime before you jump on. But it is a big deal. So the Leafs acquire Ryan O'Reilly, Noel Acciari, and St. Louis gets Abramov, Gaudette. Pillar.
There's been some big Josh Pillar erasure here.
Okay, Josh Pillar, sorry.
Even in the tweet.
Yeah, the Leafs didn't even
we
include
got
it.
Josh Pillar.
St. Louis receives Mikhail Abramov, Adam Gaudette, Toronto's first in 23, Ottawa's third in 23, Toronto's second pick in 24, and Minnesota receives Toronto's fourth in 25. Now, people rightly pointed out that that's an entire draft class of people. That's a lot of draft picks. That's 4 draft picks.
Yeah.
And Abramov, who's kind of been falling off and falling down the depth chart, and Gaudette, who's 26 and a good AHL player, has played some time in Vancouver and that sort of thing, but wasn't going to get into the Leafs lineup.
It's an exciting opportunity for him.
Sure.
I assume he'll play some games with the Blues once they're all said and done.
Yep.
And he'll probably put up some points and then go to free agency and sign with the team and maybe make a roster out of camp. Almost made the Leafs.
Yeah.
He really did. Like, he looked pretty decent.
Good preseason.
In the, preseason. And I think the reason it didn't continue is he got injured.
Oh, is that right?
Because he was hitting everything that moved and pissing everybody off. And then someone cranked him real good. I can't remember who it was. And that's, sort of started his season on the wrong foot. But he's almost a point-a-game player in the AHL.
It's very interesting because the stories around this trade are fascinating, right? You've got just the very fact that Ryan O'Reilly's dad was tweeting about it, and you saw that, and the fact that
Brian O'Reilly.
How funny is that?
That's comedy.
You got Brian, you've got Ryan, and then Cal.
Yes. Cal O'Reilly.
Cal was playing for Lehigh.
Metallurg Magnitogorsk fame.
So I guess we've heard both of your breakdowns of the trade. Now we've seen both players, Acciari included, play in Leafs jerseys. They both scored points. No got a goal.
That's right. Goal Acciari.
And it was interesting to hear.
Shit, I should have used that.
One of the things I was worried about was like, hey, Ryan O'Reilly came back from a broken foot. Are we okay with this? And Kevin Bieksa said, I wouldn't worry about it. He's not a foot speed guy anyway. So I'm just going to have to take his advice on that.
Yeah, but also, so there were comparisons with Foligno.
Yeah.
Comparisons with Patrick Kane, and comparisons, obviously, with Ryan O'Reilly. Kane and Foligno are like soft tissue issues.
Yeah.
Kane's will require surgery. O'Reilly's is a bone. Bones heal, and then once they heal, they're healed.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not quite that simple. All doctors and medical students,
but it's a little bit more definitive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And he had come back and he'd scored 3 points in 3 games in St. Louis. So then I guess they go to the St. Louis Blues, finish the game. They find out about the trade. Ryan O'Reilly has to go back to the rink and grab his and Acciari's equipment. And they're adamant that they got to play against Montreal on Saturday.
Love it.
And then, of course, that means they got to play a third game in a row, Chicago, on Sunday.
Yeah. And I did. I don't know if you guys got on it. I made my bet at Sports Interaction that Ryan O'Reilly would score a goal because they threw it up that morning.
Actually, you know what? I did.
It didn't hit, unfortunately.
And Achari, yeah.
It was available and it didn't hit.
You know what bet I did win?
What?
I won game score.
What?
I said there would be 6 total goals against Montreal.
What did that pay?
It was like 2. It was the most obvious one. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I thought you were going to say Minute Madness, and I was
Yeah,
like,
So I predicted the score, and I said it was going to be 4-2, and ended up being 5-1. But total goals scored, I got it was 6.
Nice.
okay.
Not bad, right?
Nice.
But yeah, no, I think what I want to know from you guys now, you've seen Achari, you've seen Ryan O'Reilly. Let's start with Ryan O'Reilly. Let's talk about the trade, and let's talk about the first couple of games in a Leafs uniform. When you break down this trade, do you care that the Leafs wiped out an entire draft class, essentially? 4 picks for a guy like this?
No. And listen, no one will like this trade if the Leafs lose in the first round. It is what it is. But we have to remember what we said at the time.
Which is win the first round?
We said at the time is win the damn first round. This helps them win the first round. It makes them a better defensive team. Like people were talking about, oh man, go out and get a big name defenseman. Ryan O'Reilly makes it so that you're less desperate to do that. Honestly, I think I'd kind of rather see them go after another forward potentially.
Really?
Yeah. Like what? Why not? Double down on what your strength is, right? And in the playoffs, actually, it's been a weakness. So Achari provides depth scoring.
Mm-hmm.
O'Reilly provides both.
Yes.
Like Achari provides so much of what they lack. O'Reilly provides, I would say, strength, because Matthews is a really good two-way player. Tavares is maybe losing a step there. And it's very interesting because this thing of Tavares being on the wing, I think it's fun and they're trying it. I don't think they're going to stick to it.
It's not going to work. It's not working.
I don't know necessarily about work, but I don't okay. Listen, I could have lost my mind with the Chicago game. Sid did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Sid Sixero, who joined Game Over last night.
That's right.
Yes. And I just, they're 4-4-2 against bottom 5 teams in the league. That's brutal. And you could go off on that forever. This individual game, to me, was a write-off. Like, O'Reilly and Achari, exhausted. And Achari scored somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Samsonov, if there's one thing to criticize the Leafs for, should not have played that game.
Nope.
No.
There was no reason.
Can Eric Källgren not play hockey? Is he not a human who can play goal in the NHL? Why was Samsonov in
I wonder if
he would have been better.
Oh, yeah.
This might sound stupid, and I'm just checking. But maybe they were protecting the Marlies? Which you shouldn't do, but maybe that's what they were doing.
It was ridiculous. I don't know why.
I'm just asking the question. I don't know.
There's emergency call-up stuff involved there, because if I remember correct, Källgren was an emergency call-up, and you can't clear a player to play and just keep that emergency call-up.
Yeah, he was the call-up on Saturday to be the backup, so there might be that. But to your point, you were very calm in the LFR, and you're saying it's not, if you're not going to take a lot from Wednesday's win, you can't really take a lot from Sunday's loss. And I was waiting for you to yell, "This is SL. This is SL on Sunday." It was a schedule loss.
Oh, I was like, my wife.
It was a schedule loss on Saturday, on Sunday, because even before the season, if you just look at the schedule and earmark games, that time zone move. After playing Saturday, after all the hype, they're all up Friday night. If it, except for John Tavares, who was in bed by 6 p.m. and woke up to the news on Friday. But all of that emotion, that energy, they were drained by Saturday.
100%.
I don't know if you guys know. Sorry, Sunday. I don't know if you guys noticed. There's one zone entry, and people hate zone entries, but Austin Matthews was in the first period. He was just going to enter the zone, and he lost the puck casually. And Chicago picked it up, and there was just their puck now. And those little things, he's just tired. Well, the entire team was tired.
And then, so his first game back from injury, if I remember correctly, was the Wednesday game against Chicago.
That's correct.
And in the post-game quotes, he talked about not really having his breath, followed by 2 days off, followed by back-to-back games after, again, all the adrenaline of that. And back-to-back with travel. I hate them.
Mm-hmm.
then it's an hour earlier, and the time change.
It's like 18 hours from the game end to the start of the next game.
Oh yeah.
How NHLPA figure it out?
And
how are those a thing?
One of the most fun things you said as well at the end of the LFR was, if this is a playoff game, the Leafs beat Chicago.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I know it's the Leafs, and we can all go, ha, ha, ha. But like the one team is good, the other team is not, and in the playoffs, it's equal ground.
Let's all be honest here. They just couldn't get up for this game on a Sunday.
Yeah, they were they were bad.
It's okay.
I was okay, but you know what? Let me also acknowledge something. Let me also acknowledge something. I was internet mad about it.
Yeah,
I was internet mad. I was a little internet mad. I watched your video the next day and I calmed down a little bit. I love
doing that, by the way. I love swerving.
I don't love their record against teams, the bottom 5 teams in the league,
terrible.
Which is 4-4-2.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I don't love it, but 2 of those losses have come on the second half of a back-to-back in successive weeks. Mm-hmm. Columbus and Chicago. Columbus last Saturday, Chicago.
Columbus
the
was
Anaheim one.
Columbus, though.
Yeah, I know.
The night before.
So less acceptable.
The Anaheim one was also a back-to-back.
That's true.
Yeah, they also blew a 3-1
The Anaheim one was also a back-to-back.
Guys, I also want to throw something at you. Weirdly, okay, so the Marlies, I've looked at their last 3 games. The one game that Eric Källgren did not dress for was the 5-1 game on Saturday night against Rochester. And I wonder if...
Keith Petruzzelli.
Well, yeah, it was Petruzzelli that played, and who's the other guy? Dylan Ferguson, who sat on the bench.
He's still with them.
He is.
Good for him.
I'm wondering...
I don't even think he's under contract.
I'm wondering if they thought about Källgren, and I wonder if they left it to Samsonov to make the choice, and which they shouldn't have done.
No.
But Källgren did not dress for the Marlies on the Saturday, so he could have been getting ready to go.
I think you're overthinking it, and I think the Leafs underthink.
Yeah.
Thunk it.
Yeah.
I think they were like,
he didn't look like himself.
Sammy's good. Throw him in.
Well, and it's not even
throw him in.
It's not even just you're playing Samsonov at less than 100%. It's you just put Matt Murray on LTIR. Like you know, he's probably like got some dehydration from crapping himself basically for a couple days straight with an awful stomach bug. A lot of those flying around Ontario. So you're opening him up for potential injury, which really screws you.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Do the Leafs not play tonight?
Yeah, they do.
They do play tonight, and it's probably Sammy.
Like, save him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even Joseph Woll is a young man. Joseph Woll could play back-to-back games on a Saturday, Sunday.
No.
I don't care. Goalies could also do that. Like,
I did wonder that. He's looked very good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the Marlies play like 3 games in a row sometimes. I'm sure he's used to playing a lot.
AHL players hate it.
Yeah. But one time versus the Blackhawks, you got to play back-to-back games. There are other solutions than playing Ilya. Källgren was one. Wall again. Like, figure something out. It was ridiculous.
You do, like, I hate to put Wall in that position, but, like, Ilya's your starter. You gotta protect him.
Yeah. Also, and the entire team looked tired, and it was a lot of sloppy play. Wasn't great.
Like, dude, I was exhausted by Sunday.
Yeah. Also,
like,
the Blackhawks barely won.
That too. Yeah, because they stink.
Yeah.
They're not good. Like, Kane had a great night, but like, you go look at those goals. It's target practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ilya was terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know, not to take anything away from him, but like, he should have had at least 2 of them.
Yeah. Yes. And I think we were supposed to be talking about the trade here.
Yeah, we are.
I'm excited for the day that we move away from Tavares on the wing, because my whole thing with the trade is that you get the 3-headed monster back. Like, we're back to the original dream of this team, which was Matthews, Tavares, and Kadri. And now we get Matthews, Tavares, and Ryan O'Reilly. And I think that'll be crazy in the playoffs. And then when Keith wants to throw Ryan O'Reilly up on the wing, because I think he should be the winger and Tavares can handle the center spot, that's also a death lineup with that top 6. It's a very deep core now. And like Steve said, you can always add to it. You can always move Kerfoot or something and get some bodies in and bodies out off of the active roster. But they gave up nothing out of that forward group or the defense to get this core now. And it's spectacular move
and
by Dubas.
I have to say, with Noel Acciari on that bottom 6, that fourth line was buzzing. Well, it's a great fourth line.
So I know a lot of people want to kick Kerfoot out the door, and if you can upgrade your forward group, I think you do it. But him as a fourth line winger with Acciari is a hell of a luxury.
It's noticeable skill difference.
Oh my God.
It's like when...
he doesn't belong there.
When the Leafs made the playoffs randomly in 2013 and they rolled out... I'll never forget it. It'd be like the first line was okay, second line was okay, but then their third line was Kadri and Lupul. And they were rolling that year, and they were a skill mismatch to anybody that played against them.
What was the fourth line?
It was probably pretty bad. It was Fraser, McLaren,
and McClement, McLaren, or something. Or Komarov, maybe
10 career goals between them. I think I think there's I agree with you. I want to see O'Reilly on the third line as well because I think there's some pretty good pieces for him to play with. But also, when you bring a center to a new team. You could see things like timing being off, and there was times where he got involved with plays that maybe he shouldn't have or whatever because he's learning. And I just felt like putting him right at center. I'm sure they did it to say, we want you to be comfortable here. But he's coming off the second and third night of hockey in a row.
Yeah.
And he's playing center. Put him on the wing.
I'm not sure I even expect them to be like fully great tonight against Buffalo. Like I don't want
probably not.
I don't want to make excuses early on.
Yeah, three games in 4 nights is not easy.
They're starting to recover, starting to get there.
And speaking of Buffalo, with the trade, I remembered I had forgot that he's still on the contract that he signed with Buffalo. This giant contract is the Buffalo contract. The 7.5 he signed. Tim Murray signed him 7 years ago. That's the contract Ryan O'Reilly is currently on, and it's going to expire this season. So yeah, it's quite a journey for him.
The craziest news I heard was that Colorado was apparently interested.
Oh, bringing him back?
and I was like, really? I mean, I guess after 7 years, it doesn't matter anymore.
There's a big apart from all the injuries they've had, there's a big hole on their roster up the middle. I mean, you lose Kadri, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Now, the word on the street is the Leafs did check in on Timo Meier, and that they felt the asking price was just too high. And Elliot Friedman did say that they got 2 players for less than it would have cost them for one Timo Meier, which tells me that is a sky-high asking price, and there's enough people involved or enough teams currently involved that San Jose can ask it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I were San Jose, I don't think St. Louis is upset with the return they got for a guy who's expiring. But if I was San Jose, I'd probably want more for Timo Meier, at least intangible assets, outside of just draft picks.
Guys, this is why you listen to this show. This is why I am a student of Kyle Dubas.
Okay.
I have a doctorate. What did I tell you?
PhD.
One-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
He did it. And he traded with his most common trading partner in the St. Louis Blues. Dubas isn't a hard guy to figure out. He's seeding all these rumors in the media, and he's trying to...
He doesn't actually do that.
Misinformation. Maybe he does.
Well, no, Friedge said, he said there's 2 GMs, I have no idea what they're doing. Yzerman or Dubas. I have no idea what their plan is.
Is that what he said?
He said that, yeah.
But I do. I know exactly what he's doing. The same thing he always does.
Trades that first for 2 seconds.
Yeah, at the deadline, he does one-stop shopping. Trades with his most common... Doug Armstrong. It's amazing how useful that one piece of information from Agent Provocateur was. The GMs speak to 6 people. Dubas speaks to 6 guys. It's hilarious. And one of them is Doug Armstrong. And we know that for sure because it's his most common trading partner.
I also thought it was nice, though, that Doug Armstrong did Ryan O'Reilly a solid because he said, do you want to get moved?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, where do you want to go? And
that's important. It's your captain.
And then basically you go to the Leafs and go, this is where he wants to go. Can we work it out? And they did.
Yep.
I think that's cool. And as a Toronto fan, you do get a little excited when a local guy wants to come back and play here.
Clinton, Ontario, which is way out.
I have no idea where.
Grew up a Leafs fan.
It's you got to drive an hour past Kitchener.
Which way?
You keep going northwest.
Wow. Okay.
I believe you.
There you go.
Clinton, Ontario.
I think a lot of people though are now asking, what do you do next if you're the Leafs? Because I don't believe that they're done. And I don't think a lot of people believe that they're totally done.
There it is. Jesse's got it on a map. Thank you for that. What town does it even claim? Sorry, Adam asked a perfectly legitimate question.
I'm focused on Clinton, Ontario.
Let's look at the map. No one can see.
It's in the
great idea.
I can put it on the screen. If we want to dissect where Clinton, Ontario is.
Oh, Exeter. I've heard of Exeter.
Yeah, it's Goderich. Yeah, Goderich. Goderich is right on the water. It's beautiful.
Let's say it claims Goderich. Holy mackerel.
It's in the municipality of Central Huron.
You're lying.
That's what Wikipedia says.
All right, Adam, what's your stupid friggin' question?
What's next?
Well, it's interesting, right? They got still how many days from now is the trade deadline?
It's like a week and a half.
Yeah, what day?
March the 3rd is
21st.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if
you have
they
some
make
time to
another
evaluate.
move, it's somebody off the roster for somebody in. It's just the circumstances of the cap, right?
Probably.
Probably.
If it's Luke
but not
Shen, I
necessarily.
imagine. If it's like a Luke Shen move, then I think it's probably a mid-range draft pick.
I just don't really think that moves the needle.
Okay, so what does? That's why I'm asking the question.
You got someone, if you're going to make a move, it should be for someone who kicks someone out of the lineup. The depth in getting like your 13th, 14th forward and your 7th, 8th defenseman, the great thing that we've seen this season, sort of a blessing in disguise with all the injuries, they have more than enough players. Like, think of all the guys who have been kicked out of the lineup.
Like Joey Anderson.
And Wayne Simmons and Pontus Holmberg. Like that's
Jordy Ben.
They have wild center depth. Jordy Ben,
Kyle Clifford before the season.
Victor Mete still on injured reserve. Like for God's sake, Mac Hollowell gave you quality games. So they have guys up the middle, guys on the wing, guys on D, guys on both sides on D, guys in net. I'm not worried about any of that. So if you're gonna make a deal, it should be to kick someone out of the lineup. And I'm kind of still looking at the left. And I think
on D?
No. Up front.
Forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if we're going to live our amazing fantasy dream of 3 centers, right? With Matthews, Tavares, O'Reilly. Well, you got to take John Tavares off the wing. I do think it's hilarious that they finally found a left winger for John Tavares. John Tavares.
Yeah.
Who is going to play second wing on Tavares' line? Oh, I got it.
Tavares.
John Tavares.
He is the most responsible left winger in the history of the game.
Ever.
There were some great chances that line created, too.
Yeah.
Well,
If
in
they'd
their
finished on
first game against Montreal, when they weren't completely sucking wind, that line looked pretty good. And then I will say, so they were on for the Habs' first goal against, and I guess unsurprising, but I did not like how easy Josh Anderson was able to just go thank you and just brush TJ Brody aside. Like, I know people are gonna groan. They do need to be able to move the puck. This team is too easy to move.
What did you think of Jake McCabe's performance? He was being
In the Chicago
physical
game?
and
He had a decent game on Sunday.
He should have been called for interference at least 5 times, but they were all on Michael Bunting,
Man.
so you're not going to get a call.
There were a couple horrific non-calls in that game, but again, I didn't want to get too worked up. I feel like from a storytelling perspective of that game, you can't be like, it's okay, and also, what the frig were those refs doing? But like, dude,
Well, I know
they were miserable.
We
They
have
were
an item
terrible.
that we're going to get to, and that is Michael Bunting. But in the meantime, what I'm asking, what moves the needle, right?
Yeah, are you still on the go get Sam Lafferty and Jake McCabe train?
Well, I think the get both of them train has left the station.
Sure.
I don't think they're able to do that. I mean, can you imagine Dubas? We're talking about how cap strapped the team is. He goes out at the deadline and acquires 4 guys. I mean, it's possible.
Send guys out.
Yeah, you'd have to get McCabe half retained. You have no other choice. I mean, he does sort of fit what they need. They need to get bigger. Well, Steve, didn't you just say they shouldn't go out and get Luke Shen? I did say they should, but like again, it's your third pair guy.
Yeah. Is it possible?
I don't know what you do there.
But is it possible that they're the left wing they're looking for is
John Tavares, Austin Matthews
is the player that scored a winning goal for the University of Minnesota on Saturday night.
Matthew
Nyes, who has 13 points in his last 10 and 8 in his last 5.
Maybe it's a message to Matthew Nyes. Like, if they don't go out and address that position, they're like, kid,
please
come to the show. Come to the show with open arms. We can give you an amazing opportunity. If they choose to go 1, 2, 3 up the middle, we're talking about making your NHL debut next to one of Austin Matthews, John Tavares, or Ryan O'Reilly.
That's such absurd. A big ask for somebody who's never played an NHL game.
Yeah, well, the other option is play on the fourth line with Noel Acciari and Alex Kerfoot.
Not the worst. Still not the worst.
Dude, like, you're good. And like all of those lines would have babysitters. Like, I'm talking about defensively.
Right.
Like, David, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the third line, right? Like, typically the shutdown line or the matchup line.
Yep.
It's Engvall, Kampf, and Yarncroke. That's not the plan.
That is not the plan.
I'm sorry, you don't go out and get Ryan O'Reilly and have that be your plan.
I think Zach Aston Reese, I think the idea is to, if I'm going to look at anybody who's going to fall off that, it's Zach Aston Reese.
Oh, but I want to see playoff Zach Aston Reese because
you would see him in the playoffs. I just think Matt Nyes is going to push him out of the lineup to give him a shot. And I don't mean
temporarily.
Temporarily, I'm not sure that if you move O'Reilly down, Tavares over, and Engvall down or whatever, you can easily do that.
Do you hear the silly happy-go-lucky fantasy conversation we're having?
If I'm the dub daddy, Mr. Kyle Dubas, I don't bank on Matthews and Nyes coming in and being the solution. Like, I try and solve the problem myself before I have to rely on a guy who's never played in the NHL being a solution going into the playoffs. That's huge.
I mean, you could have him go kick the shit out of the AHL.
Yeah. I think he's 1 move, 2 moves maybe away from being settled on this roster.
Now, some of you are going to say, well, what about just don't play him at all and have his entry-level contract roll to next year? It's different with guys like this. And I got to imagine there's some sort of agreement in place that has him playing professional hockey this year.
Who's his agent?
I don't know. Alan? Is it Alan?
It's not Alan.
Damn!
Sorry.
We can't ask him.
Tell him to get a Leaf.
I know. Well, the Leafs traded Sean Dursey. That was his guy.
Oh, fuck Nuggets.
Wow.
It would have been nice.
Underrated.
It would have been nice.
It's a good one. I like that.
It would have been. Like, yeah. And I said earlier, somewhat foolishly, that, they have 10 days left until the trade deadline, and the next few games is, how they evaluate. No, they're not. They've done their evaluation already. I think you're going to see some pretty shit hockey over the next few days. I'm not going to lie, guys.
Why?
Because the Leafs are they're incredibly distracted. Like, what now that O'Reilly is in the lineup, all the guys who know they're staying are absolutely pumped up and amped. All the guys who aren't sure that they're staying are like, fuck, I might get traded. Right? Like, do you think Engvall and even Kampf and Kerfoot and Hall are sleeping great these days?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Also, Hall ain't getting traded.
Well, I don't know what you'd get. Like, I think the Leafs, if you want to trade a player, you have to trade somebody of value, or there's going to be a reason, right? And I don't think that anybody values the Leaf or Justin Hall like the Leafs do. I don't think there's a single one. And I think we talked about it with Cam Sharon's tweet yesterday or last week, and he put out an article explaining himself in the Athletic.
So Cam
Sharon actually put out an article. Here's why I believe
full Justin Hall is good
breakdown.
article.
Yes, 100%, and about why he says. And he's not perfect, and that Cam's not saying that. Like, it's a nuanced approach. But he said, there's a reason why I believe this, and here are the reasons, and he goes into the reasons. And I don't know that any other team looks at Justin Hall like the Leafs do. So I don't think he's going to get traded, unless it's just salary for salary.
The reason no team looks at Justin Hall like the Leafs do is because other teams don't know him as a person like the Leafs do. and I think getting rid of him would devastate the locker room. I think he's a tremendous.
He's a vibes guy.
He's at least a top 5 popular guy on that team. They love him. He's really funny. He keeps it loose. He keeps it happy. Keeps everyone in their happy place. And I'm not saying the other guys we mentioned don't. I'm just saying he's one of the most. I saw a quote. I can't remember where it was from, where he was playing guitar or something with O'Reilly.
Oh, really?
He's just one of those guys who knows how to do everything.
He's just cool.
He's just cool. Like, and I know he doesn't seem cool when he's grabbing the puck in his hand and throwing it. Like,
that was one
which is
time.
a literal thing he did.
One time. Come on.
But he did it, right? But he did it. And, you know, I know he doesn't seem cool on the ice all the time, but he's a really popular teammate, and that matters.
I think the idea
it'll
of
have to be someone else.
Of him playing in the top 4, we maybe need to move on from that.
Yes.
Maybe he can be a bottom pair.
Well, dude, I hate it.
Like,
I
maybe
hate
just Connor Timmins can take the spot if Connor Timmins can get his game together, which he didn't have a good one on Sunday.
Yeah,
but
Connor, let's talk about his last 2 games, right? Scored a goal, took 2 penalties. First, he's taken 3 penalties this season. 2 of them were in that game. Like, most important game of his season. Okay. So you get another opportunity and you make it look like you don't know how to skate backwards. And like, dude, we're cheering for you, man.
Yeah.
We're the red carpet.
There's
Roll out
also
the red carpet.
There's a spot for you.
There's a spot for you if you take it. And he won't.
Yeah.
Or can't.
I was talking to Andrew Berkshire about the Leafs yesterday, and you'll
We'll work on it.
You'll hate this because it's Andrew. But I was talking about,
what did that jerk say?
He wondered about, and I'm going to quote him directly because I don't want to get it wrong. You know how great my memory is. He kind of says O'Reilly helps a lot, but he said for the Leafs, you got to worry about Murray. If he was healthy and he's playing well, that's one thing. But he said, have you considered the fact that he's not? And he was playing okay when he was playing, but he's still not healthy. And Elvis Merzlikins, now Andrew didn't bring this up, but Elvis Merzlikins is absolutely available at $1.3 million.
And has been one of the worst goaltenders in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
He's available.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could get him and try it. Like, they better get him today.
Yeah, and try him out.
Yeah, like, you need an answer there. But also, you better not get him today because you need as much cap room as possible. I don't know. Do you have enough confidence in Joseph Woll that if both guys shit the bed, you go to the kid? He's looked fine in 2 games.
I thought he was good.
He's 14-1 in the A, and he's looked good in 2 games. He faced way too many shots in those 2 games.
Yes, he did.
Way too many shots.
I'm officially going to declare, I'm going to put my flag into the ground and say, this is my land now.
Oh.
Kyle Dubas was wrong about Matt Murray. Can't stay healthy. It was a bad contract. Why did you hand that out?
Yeah, he just keeps throwing him on a LTIR, though. He doesn't care. Matt Murray is Brandon Pridham's favorite player.
Extra cap space.
Extra cap space. Like that, and you got, so you get a little bit of extra cap space, and you get I think it was a 3rd and a 5th. I think he's perfectly happy.
What about the cap space at the beginning of the year when you could have signed a different body?
What if you can get a divisional rival to pay you to take this goalie who gave you more quality games than he didn't? And then when he gets hurt, you simply throw him on LTIR and you accrue that space.
I am upset. I would have liked him to not sign Matt Murray.
Now, what would the Leafs have done had Ilya Samsonov not magically become available? That keeps me up at night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like thinking about that, actually. I don't. But that didn't happen.
It didn't.
Here we are. And
it all worked out. I'm not saying it didn't work out. I'm not saying they're not in a good position where they can just put it on LTIR and they still get the cap space. I'm just saying, in hindsight, it wasn't the greatest signing.
No, it was a trade.
Sorry, trade.
Oh, if they re-sign him, I'm going to move furniture. It's going to be a problem. But they're not
going to.
They're not going to. And if they do, it's going to be at a lot less than 4.
Well, and you got to remember, too, Kyle Dubas was around during the Robidaw Island era. And I'm sure there's a conversation that could be had where you say, listen, Matt, we could buy you out. or you can sit on LTIR all year and collect every dollar.
That I think might happen next season.
Because this is what last year he played 20 games, right?
Yeah.
This year he has played. Let me just look up exactly how many games he's played. And this is not because he's played 19 this year.
And we don't know if he's going to hit 20.
27 the year before.
Yeah, man. Like
we and he's had a good year. I mean, his numbers are good, like strong goalie.
Yeah. He's given you
good
more
minutes.
Good games than bad.
But if you believe by the end of the season that Wool is ready to go, right? If you see enough from Joseph Wool this season where you think, okay, this guy's probably ready for the show now.
I'm confident he could be a full-time Leaf.
Yeah, so like a 25-game goalie.
Even this year. I think he could be a fuilm Leaf.
Well,
I think he doesn't come back.
Here's the thing. Sometimes it's not about does he deserve it, it's has he earned it? Has he taken it? And he has taken it. You know, he didn't have the Leafs had a terrible game against Columbus, so it wasn't really fair to him, but he made some saves he shouldn't have. Like really good saves.
They should have won that game, and he was the only reason they were in.
And then his second game played really well.
Yep.
It's third and a seventh, 25% retained. Yeah, a third round pick this coming season, seventh the next year, and 25% retained for the Matt Murray deal. I forgot that trade.
Yeah,
I forgot the
draft
the picks that came along with them.
And they gave up future considerations, which I think means consider yourself down one Matt Murray.
It's still 4.6 next year.
It's a lot of money.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't do the trade again if you could go back in time.
Nah, you got to wait and see what they do.
Here's the problem though. They swung and missed on Marc-Andre Fleury, and they swung and missed on Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm almost positive they swung and missed on because they tried to trade for the guy, and then Ville Husso I think was on their radar. I think we heard that.
That was,
and they swung and missed on him.
That's why
I was so upset. That same money could have went to Ville Husso.
Yeah,
exact same cash.
I've never heard such a guttural scream.
Yeah, so I think it's just that they had to do something, and then I don't think they knew that Samsonov wouldn't be re-signed because that was before free agency, right? They didn't know,
or maybe they made an educated guess. I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, even if he becomes available, how do you know he's going to sign with you?
Well, because you could just say, "Hey, Matt," or "Hey, Ilya, why don't you come?" Not Matt.
Hey,
Ilya.
This is the caller ID comes up. Definitely not tampering.
So you don't mind Wool. By the way, tampering, which happens all the time, every day in the NHL,
doesn't happen.
Okay, so then your thing is left side. That's what if they were going to make another trade, you want left side,
ideally.
Okay, Jesse, what's yours?
Another trade?
Yeah, if they're going to make another trade, who's it for?
Ooh. For a forward or a defenseman?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, who it's for?
Yeah, what would you like?
I think the D is fine. Go get another forward.
Yeah?
We focus so much less on the D if they go out and get another forward. I bet.
As of today, Sandin is day-to-day too. Just so nothing crazy, but
he got banged up a couple times in that.
And as of right now, it's Morgan Riley and Justin Hall.
Mo Hall,
Sheldon.
I'm
gonna snap.
Loves Justin Hall. Yo,
Justin Hall.
You made a couple good points in the Chicago video though about Connor Timmins, and you're like, man, I'm rooting for you, but stop doing stupid shit.
Yeah, no, I said he's like the embodiment of the Tyra Banks meme.
Yeah,
like we were rooting for you. How dare you? We were rooting for you, and then he's like, "How do you skate backwards?" And I'm like,
the other thing
with one end.
I want to hit this is we got to talk about Michael Bunting. I think a lot of people have taken your take and taken it to mean that you don't like Michael Bunting. Yeah. But I think the reality of the situation is that Michael Bunting is probably just learning how to work the system. And he's on the wrong side of the system, and sometimes you have to be on the wrong side to realize how it works. Now, how to
look at him the last few games?
Well, and so I bring up Jake McCabe. You saw the interference call. Yeah. Michael Bunting screaming at the refs, and the refs going, "We don't care."
Yep.
Because our buddies called us. You made them look like idiots. So now we're not going to call anything on you.
Yep.
And listen, as Leaf fans, I want you to expect this the rest of the year. Michael Bunting will not get positive calls en masse. He might get one or two, so don't tweet me and reply, "Well, he got it that time." But it's like, well, he got cross-checked in the mouth. The ref had no choice.
Listen, the officials are petty and immature. They're
a gang.
Yeah, kind of.
They're totally. It's like a very thin-skinned gang.
Yeah. Do you think when they
They're
speak to each
passive
other,
aggressive.
when they speak to each other, they're talking about what a bad game they had?
No.
They've
never had a bad game ever.
No, and so is chirping at me, and what a fucking whiner, and this guy's a whiner, and that guy's a whiner, and it never occurs to them that, gosh, there's a lot of whiners. It never occurs to them that maybe they have a point. No, word has gotten around that Michael Bunting is impossible to deal with. But if you've watched the last few games, he's toned it down. I'm not saying he can never go at a guy.
You can have a discussion.
No, McCabe lined him up and hit him way late. And I don't have a problem with him going after him a little bit. But it's the getting goaded in like after a whistle, screaming at the refs. That I have a problem with. But the game, I think it was against Montreal, he had a pair of goals, is in great scoring position, he's winning battles, and when he was getting fucked with, he didn't rise. David Savard, go back and look at when David Savard went after Michael Bunting. It's hilarious because Bunting literally did nothing to warrant that reaction. And also the refs swoop in and grab him first. Like, whoa, Mike, calm down. And he was standing there like a mannequin. And still, because of that reputation. But he's trying to, I don't know, maybe there's something to, hey, he's changed. Hey, someone finally got in his ear. Hey, we got our point across, stroke their ego a little bit.
Well, but I think the whole point of working the system is too, what do you think the refs think of Brad Marchand?
They love him. No one has signed more sticks over the last few years.
Because Brad Marchand works smart, not hard. He works smart. When the ref's over, you're going to be able to do what you want.
He's able to get away with anything.
If Michael Bunting does it, it's a penalty. If Brad Marchand does it, it's hard-nosed hockey.
Dude,
and that's, by the way, that's a credit to Brad. I'm not taking away from him.
No.
That's look at how much the Bruins are benefiting.
Any benefit, the main problem I have with Bunting's antics is it's hurting the team.
Yes.
Right? Marchand's antics help the team.
Yeah.
Now, you could say, well, Steve, that's because they call one and not the other. Yeah. Why? Why do they call one and not the other? This is what I'm trying to examine. There was a clip from the other day. It was after one of the many times the Bruins beat the Leafs. I think 2019? Might have been 2019. The Bruins went on to play the Blue Jackets. And Marchand on the faceoff stepped on Cam Atkinson's stick and broke it. And Atkinson is going at the refs like, dude, he broke look at it. It's broken. And Marchand's just standing there. And he just stands there and basks in it and doesn't say anything. And that's him being a shithead. And also, it's him being easy to deal with.
Because he didn't say anything.
I guarantee you, fucking-to you, the officials went into the next intermission and went, God, Cam is fucking insufferable. Can't stand Cam. What a baby. What a whiner. We're just trying to do our jobs.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you're upset, if you're a Michael Bunting fan, which we are, and you're upset about the way things are, we're with you. But the reality is we can't change the way things are. So we have to suggest politely that a player work within the system that exists.
And he's learning.
He is.
He is learning.
Yeah,
he's a good
Don't forget,
player.
He is a second-year pro.
Yes.
This is somebody who's fairly new to the league. He was a rookie last season.
At 38 years old.
At 47 years old.
He is Jaromir Jagr's draft.
He's a second-year pro, and he's learning.
The Bunting old memes are funny. I don't care. They've grown on me. I hated them at first, and now they're funny. Yeah, dude. He can be a very useful player to this team.
Okay, I want to upgrade you. Joshua Clokey of The Athletic, Sheldon Keefe on what he told John Tavares before moving him to the wing. Quote, it's not a one-off. We're going to stay with it here.
Sheldon.
Okay. Leafs are trading for another forward.
Stay for how long?
Leafs are for sure trading for another forward, guys. Although, I have to say, lines 3 and 4 look pretty good.
I'm not strong enough.
I love David Kampf.
I'm not strong
enough
enough or tough enough to beat you up, so I'm just going to ask you calmly to quit it.
Couple more things I want to say.
Please quit it.
One more thing I want to say on the Leafs. The Leafs are 25, 5, and 3 since 2021 when Pierre Engvall scores.
Holy shit!
Thank you, Sportsnet Stats, for that one. So if the Giraffe scores, likely you're winning.
Love that. Get him in there, Pierre. Get in there. Show why you shouldn't be traded, or also drive up your value. Whatever you do, just have a great game.
Everyone knows Peloton makes bikes, duh. But there is also so much more to that. There is treadmills, and there's a ton of other classes like yoga, strength training, HIIT, and boxing. And Steve, you like to take a nice 30-minute ride through various locations. That's the other thing that I think people don't talk about enough is like, I feel like going to Austria and riding a bike today.
Do they have a Guernsey route?
I don't know.
On Peloton?
I am going to lobby them for it. I need Guernsey. I want to ride through Guernsey. They have Scotland.
Okay.
They do have Scotland.
We're getting close.
Okay.
They also have the Pacific Coast Highway. What do they call it? California.
Yeah.
California.
Just because it's a road I drove on.
Once you hop off the 405, you can like get on
the tip.
Yeah.
Peloton offers thousands of on-demand classes available 24/7. That means you can work out whenever and wherever it's convenient to you, because nothing gets you moving like the perfect song, too. Peloton has the best playlist. So if you're looking for EDM or 90s pop, or what I do, which is 80s hard rock, I always look for those classes. Peloton has the music to fit your mood, and you can try Peloton right now, risk-free, with a 30-day home trial. New members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.ca/home-trial. Our next partner is Athletic Greens. Now, AG1. Jesse, it's a daily part of your life.
Yes, every morning.
But I want to ask you this. What makes you stick to the habit? Any habit.
It's easy. Like I love the little bottle it comes in because it's aesthetically pleasing. It's very easy.
You like that stuff. You like packaging and typesetting. Typesetting. Jesse's a big typesetter.
They have the bottle has a little metal lid that's really cool, and it's a very nice bottle. I'm so focused on the bottle. The bottle is very nice, and you put one scoop in, you shake it, and then you drink it. And it's so easy, and it's easy to do, and it makes you feel good.
Tummy thing or energy thing, or both?
I think a little bit of both. The tummy thing, it's really good for your gut health, I find. And then, it's energy throughout the day. You know,
and there's certain
that
things,
little area where you take it gives you a little bit of energy.
There's certain things that Jesse shouldn't have, but he does, and he becomes, stinky.
It doesn't help me that I lactose.
There you go.
So,
if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is going to give you a 1 free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/SDP to check it out. That's athleticgreens.com/SDP. Check it out now. All right. Now, apparently the Bruins are, and there's a big difference. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I want to actually talk about this. I want to ask what you would do. Because I'm looking at tonight's games. We got Carolina, St. Louis. Who would you favorite on that? If you were betting on that, what are you doing? If you're putting $2 Steve on that.
Carolina. I think I might have actually done it.
If you're doing Jesse, what do you do? Carolina or St. Louis?
They're playing each other.
That's right.
What location?
Doesn't matter. Who you bet?
It does matter. Who's home and who's away?
Oh, guys, come on.
Who's home?
I'm just
and who's
trying
away?
to go through this quickly. Come on.
It's valid.
No, it's not.
Who's the home team?
Home ice advantage is St. Louis at Carolina, guys.
St. Louis at Carolina?
Yes.
Oh, then Carolina.
Okay, Tampa at home against Anaheim. What do you take?
Anaheim.
Really?
Go away.
Just for the value?
Go away.
Yeah, what am I getting?
By the way, Arizona did beat and shut out Tampa Bay last week, so you never know.
Here, you want me to just tell you what
that
I've
was the
done?
Connor Ingram game we talked about on
That's
Friday.
right.
Yeah.
Want me to just tell you what I've done?
No,
I have 4.
No, I'm trying to do something here to illuminate a feature, and then
I'm
you can
trying
tell
to
me
give you
what
a
you've done.
better one.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Tampa. Give me the favorite.
Okay, what about Jersey and Montreal? Montreal at New Jersey.
Montreal at New Jersey. When was the last time New Jersey played at home on a Tuesday?
I'm gonna fight these two idiots.
On a Tuesday.
What's
Make
their
sure you get
record?
that information.
What's their record versus Canadian teams on Tuesdays?
I don't fucking know, man.
Well, then
I don't fucking know.
I need more information.
New Jersey.
I think
New Jersey and Montreal.
favorites?
I might go Laval.
Oh my God.
I got Laval.
You got Laval. Okay.
Montreal.
Everybody's taking New Jersey on that
No,
one.
Montreal.
Toronto at Buffalo. Who do you take?
Laval.
See, you can't go through it and just be like, oh, 4 favorites.
Well, no, you can, because there's a reason I'm getting to
Okay,
this.
give me the 4 favorites.
My
then.
goal is
There's 5, actually.
My goal is
5
to have
favorites.
Adam
Who's the last favorite?
flip this table.
Who's the last favorite?
The
Give it to
last
me.
favorite is, interestingly, who would you take, Washington or Detroit?
Detroit.
I put my money where my mouth is, and I put $2 down on Detroit.
Okay, so the reason I say that is there's 5 games tonight.
Yeah.
If you bet all the favorite bets,
Oh. I was on the
freaking
something.
guys. So you pick all the ones that have like the lowest return. and you win them all, you take $72.
Whoa!
For what did you put down?
$10.
Oh, 10
$10 total. So it's a $2 Steve on 5 different games, but you return 72 guaranteed.
Is Detroit the favorite versus
Detroit
Washington?
is not the favorite, but it's the most popular bet.
So people
are betting Detroit to beat Washington. It's the only game
underdog.
where it's the only underdog to take.
Yeah. But you get in this 7-1 thing, you get Detroit.
Yeah,
you get Detroit. Okay.
So you take Carolina, Tampa, New Jersey, Toronto, Detroit, and they all win.
That's so much. I got screwed on a 4-leg parlay the other day by the Leafs.
Why?
Because I got 3 games right, and the Leafs screwed it up. And I just like to tell them thank you. You jerks. I could have won like $8.
Well, you know, this is the thing.
I wanted it.
So anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys now. Steve, tell us what you did. Tell us what you did, Steve.
So Detroit screwed me last time I bet on them.
By the way,
but
sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. How's it feel? QR code, right-hand corner of the screen. You can download the app anytime.
I got LA beating Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I got Carolina beating St. Louis. I got Detroit beating Washington. And I got Tampa playing Anaheim because $2 Steve would like to be 40 cents richer.
It's worth it. I won a 47-cent bet at the Super Bowl, and I still feel good about it.
It's so much
I'm very
less,
proud of that.
It's so much less about the money and more about feeling good about yourself.
Yeah. A lot of it's just I want to be right, and it's on paper that I was right.
Yeah.
Here's provably.
That's a lot of it.
I was correct.
I knew it. Nostradamus over here.
Yeah.
Now I want to get into the Bruins quickly because the Bruins either want Gavrikov or Chychrun.
Those aren't the same player,
right?
Or situation.
Can the Leafs get Chychrun?
I mean, I guess they could. It just depends.
Gavrikov.
Yeah.
The contract's only 4.6.
Don't draft ever.
I don't know if it's the contract so much as it's like, what does it cost you, right? Like, what do you have to give up? Is it like Sandin and Nyes? Is it? I mean, I'm just making shit up.
Yeah.
But like, they're gonna want something. They're gonna want an NHL player. They're probably gonna want one that's younger, and they're gonna want a prospect, like a top prospect. Chychrun's been great
anymore.
I just don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense.
I mean, I would love it. I'm with you.
Cool. I don't know.
It'd be super cool.
But Boston.
So this is the funny thing about Boston is like, especially with the Leafs actually doing a big trade deadline date.
Yeah.
I tell you this, every year Boston goes out and gets the guy. So who are the guys left? Patrick Kane, Gavrikov for sure,
Timo Meier
for sure, Timo Meier, for
Tyler
sure.
Bertuzzi.
Apparently,
I don't get that.
He's off the trade market.
Oh,
Detroit is quote no longer taking calls on him
because
But
they're
I'm
winning.
Yeah,
that was
that's
the
right.
report.
I got.
I mean, they're in the wild card.
Yeah.
I got a tweet from a Red Wings fan like, "Hey, could you beat Buffalo?
Yeah,
please."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're all tied at 60 points.
Ivan Barbashev, UFA, in St. Louis.
Who the Leafs apparently tried to get included in that 3. That should be the indicator right there. They wanted Barbashev in that deal as well.
And he's the Swiss Army knife. He can do everything.
Klingberg is still out there. Like, let's not forget that John Klingberg still needs to be mean, to be Anaheim.
I mean, I think we have.
Can I throw this theory
I think
out
we have
there?
forgotten the Klingberg.
Yeah. Can I throw this theory out there? The Leafs' next trading partner might be the St. Louis Blues.
Barbashev?
You wait until the deadline so the cap hit goes down. They still retain half. And then you get another versatile forward for less.
Sean Monahan in Montreal.
But he's injured.
Oh,
and I don't know if he's going to be back. And I don't know if he's playing again this year. Jonathan Toews obviously pulled out of the season, long COVID effects. I didn't know it was that bad. Brutal for him.
Well, it was bad enough he missed a full season, but it's strange. I guess we all sort of thought he was past the worst of it because he's actually played pretty well since. That's a shame.
Gavrikov, by the way, still apparently going to cost you a first-round pick for a guy who apparently sucks up minutes and blocks shots, which doesn't fill me with confidence, but that does sound like a Ross Boston, doesn't it?
You know what it sounds like? Kekalainen throws the worst garage sales. Like you're supposed to go to the purpose of a garage sale is not to make money; it is to get rid of your shit, right? And it's just when he had the wild price for Nick Foligno.
Yeah,
I think the difference was: listen, there's 2 guys. You want Foligno or Hall? You want Foligno, you come to me. And that's it. There are so many defensemen available this deadline. Gavrikov's not even the best one.
No, he might be the worst one.
He might.
He's not that good.
But like out of the big guys available. Yeah. But
well, he's a big guy and available. So that's what they're saying. I think Gavrikov. Here's what my question with Boston is: you got Lindholm already, and you've got players of that ilk already. Do you need a Chychrun? But then the other side of me goes, who cares? It's Chychrun, and he's really good.
You know what Boston probably likes about Gavrikov? He's played playoff series against the Leafs, and he's played playoff series against the Bruins. Against the Lightning.
Okay.
Probably like that.
Okay, Jesse, do you have that video I sent you? I sent you an email. And you'll have to download the video. It'll take 2 seconds. But I did the, and while we're on the subject, I did the...
I already have this one queued up.
You have this queued up?
Yeah.
Did the hot sauce challenge with Andrew on Saturday night on Game Over. A lot of people tuned in for it. Andrew's lips turned ruby red.
He looked like he was giving a eulogy.
He had Jessica Rabbit lips. It was crazy, but then like was pale and sweaty, and because it's painful, it's not easy. But he had this take about Boston, and I just thought you guys should hear it because I felt like it needed a little bit more play. So this is what Andrew Berkshire said about the Boston Bruins on Saturday night when I asked him about it. But I have this one question, and this is for the comment section too. The Bruins are winning like crazy. They won again tonight or this afternoon, and Linus Ullmark is going to win the Vezina and all that stuff. I remember when Brady and the Patriots went undefeated right to the Super Bowl and lost. And I just wonder with a team like that, like the 96 Detroit Red Wings, when you win that much, is there that added pressure once the playoffs start? Like, well, better not fuck this up now, right?
Yeah. I think for Boston, that probably starts in the Stanley Cup final because they've made it there 3 times and only won once.
Right.
But I think the biggest issue for Boston is going to be they're on a mission. Obviously, you can see that, but they're playing so hard in the regular season.
Yeah.
Which Stanley Cup winner in recent memory went this hard in the regular season and was also that old?
Right? And healthy. And they're healthy.
They've been extraordinarily healthy. I think there's a high level of chance that things could go wrong for them right at the wrong time. And you're banking on fate, right? But so much of sports is like the story, right? And as much sometimes it just seems like it's written.
Yep.
And I feel like Boston is one of those teams where their time has passed. They're still great.
You think their time has passed?
I think
their time's
so,
right now?
I think their time has passed. I think their last chance at a Stanley Cup was against the St. Louis Blues.
What?
Oh!
No way.
I think there's too many guys on that roster who are critically important who are way on the wrong side of 30. And when push comes to shove in the playoffs, guys are going to get hurt. They're going to struggle to play a little bit harder. And it's just, things are going to come back on them. They're a great team that run a great system, but I don't think they're going to win. I mean, it's an easy thing to say because it's 1 out of 16. Saying, I picked this one team to not win is like, what are the odds that Sports Interaction is going to get to bet against one team?
Right.
It's not like I'm taking a big risk here, but I don't think the Boston Bruins are going to win.
Wow. I thought that was anybody say that.
He warmed up to it too.
And I hear the hot sauce in his voice.
Yeah,
the whole time.
my God.
He started burping like after the 5th one. He was like,
you can see the physical toll on the both of you.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Pretty intense.
But with
the,
I was asleep.
That was fine.
That was good. With the Bruins take, he's not wrong in that the best team usually doesn't win. The best regular season team that's dominant to other regular season team doesn't usually win. Like we saw with Florida last year. Like we go back to the Blackhawks in the lockout season. The last time a team, game 1 is the most dominant world-beating team, and then they do all that into the playoffs and they keep going. Other than that, in recent, like very, very recent memory, it's not usually the case. But these Bruins are very good.
I know, and they're like so special that it's hard to fathom that. But it was an interesting take, and I just thought it was worth bringing up, and I wanted to see what you guys thought.
I think it's extra fascinating because we have absolutely no idea who they're going to play in the first round.
Yeah. Well, and there's like 6 teams in on that.
Yeah. And like it's the teams that are coming up are almost the teams you'd prefer to play less, because it's like the Penguins and Caps and Islanders are like, you take it. Islanders are fucked, by the way. Did you see the Barzal news?
No, he's day to day or week to week.
No, he's out indefinitely.
No, I know, but then Lane Lambert got in front of Lane Lambert said that, and then the Islanders clarified, and they said he's week to week.
That's
okay.
That's what they wanted to make sure it was clarified.
Okay. Week to week to me means indefinitely, because what does that mean?
I don't know.
Day to day means I'm probably going to be back any day now. Week to week is indefinitely.
I'll see you every 7 days.
What does that mean? Week to week could mean you're back next week. It could mean you're back in a month and a half.
6 weeks, yeah. I don't know.
John Carlson also was skating on Monday, which is good for the Caps.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's been out for forever, and their defense struggles without him.
Ovechkin is flying back to North America today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. And like they haven't had Tom Wilson almost all year. He's back.
And it would be hard to expect for him to be at prime Tom Wilson after missing everything.
Mm-hmm.
The wild card really changes every day. If you asked me who was in the wild card, I would have never guessed the Islanders are the top wild card and the Panthers are the second wild card. Never would have guessed that.
I don't want to face Florida. I don't want to face Buffalo either. I don't want to face Detroit. Like it's a good little and then you go up against Crosby versus fucking the Bruins.
If you're the Bruins, though, wouldn't you rather not play Crosby though? Of all the teams you mentioned, I'd rather have a younger team that is okay to lose.
Yes.
Because Crosby's not going to be okay with losing.
Mm-hmm.
What a wild discrepancy, too. The Islanders and Panthers have played 60 games each. The teams directly back of them, 56, 58, Buffalo 54, and Detroit 56.
5. Your eyes are failing.
My eyes are so shit.
By the way, I want to remind you, or I want to jump in with some news here.
Even Ottawa's not really out of it.
As of a few minutes ago, it's been reported that the St. Louis Blues are
don't break my heart.
Are in on. Are you ready?
In on.
Who would the Blues be in on, guys?
Is it Chychrun?
They are, according to CJ, in on Chychrun, but who else?
I'm trying to think of a young player who would be available, because I mean they're not buying.
Besser.
Oh, Besser.
Timo Meier.
What?
So CJ,
with a deal.
I asked CJ.
Oh,
and he said they're retooling on the fly the way Vancouver has talked about.
Oh, nice.
So if
he's an RFA.
They have 3 firsts now, St. Louis.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know what? I got to tell you, Leaf fans should be cheering for that.
Absolutely,
because
go get them both.
But if you find a way to keep Meier out of the playoff picture,
yes, and Chychrun away from the Bruins.
Well, because
right, cheer for that.
Oh, Doug, you're my best friend, because yes, Meier is allegedly going to who are the teams who are super in on him? Carolina, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic news.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go, Doug, go. Go, Doug, go. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent news. You know what? The Bruins should be jacked about that news, too, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
anyone in the Metro should be jacked about that news, unless you were one of the teams planning on getting them. The Rangers should be really excited about that news.
Oh, yeah. Now, so that would leave sort of like Patrick Kane, right? That leaves Patrick Kane.
Imagine he goes to the Rangers after all, somehow. In a 5-team deal.
Could he?
I don't know.
No, you don't think so?
I don't know.
I wonder if a team for Patrick Kane, I wonder if a team like Buffalo.
Dude, could be Carolina.
No, but Buffalo's
they keep losing all their guys. Yes.
And I'm just thinking
he's sort of been rumored there for a long time.
And I mean, it's like, reward this team.
That's a hell of a reward. The Leafs gave up a 2nd-round pick for Brian Boyle to reward their young, surprising team. Going out and dropping God knows what on Patrick Kane would be wild.
Would it be that much?
I wouldn't mess with Buffalo's forward group. Like, I'm going to get a defenseman if Buffalo needs anything. This is the best offense in the entire National Hockey League. Underratedly, people haven't noticed, but Buffalo is right up there in goals for per game, and in terms of total goals, and in like points goals per game. So why are you messing with that?
So much youth in that lineup too, And for almost all of them, it's going to be their first playoff experience. Let them get it and let them get as much of it as possible.
Yeah.
You could help them. I don't think Kane's the plan there. Okay. That's where you go out and get a Grizzly fourth line dude.
Go get a goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You go get a goalie at Buffalo.
It's been Pamelka.
Like
Pamelka.
I'm into that.
Steve has been trying to trade Karel Pamelka for 6 months.
Yeah, for your fantasy.
I've been holding on. I've been holding on.
Best Buffalo Sabres goalie since Dominic Hasek. Name him.
Ryan Miller.
Oh, damn it. Best Buffalo Sabres goalie since Ryan Miller.
Wow.
Robin Leonard was not a great Sabre.
CJ wanted me to mention too.
Oh boy.
CJ wanted me to mention too. He's like, look, they got 2 lower first rounders. This is St. Louis. Plus their own this year. They've got long-term deals for Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. Bunch of D-locked into long-term deals. And he said they traded Oshie and Backus in their previous cycle and set up their core to the Cup run. And
that is exactly true. Yeah.
Damn, Siege. Damn. Dropping the knowledge.
Wonderful. That is some 3D chess shit. And maybe
Armstrong's he's a fucking G, man. He's another guy that you're like, if that guy, good on Dubas for doing a good deal.
What if he called up Dubas and said, here's what I'm thinking of doing. Give me a first.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
If you're Dubas, yeah, okay.
Get him on Agent Provocateur again. Get him on Agent Provocateur again. Do you have anything lined up this week that you're willing to talk about?
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Let it happen.
Okay, yeah, we got to make sure it happens. I don't want to jinx it.
I'm on team let it happen because I cannot fucking believe you got this particular person this week.
It might be the biggest.
No, it is.
It might be the biggest hockey guest we've ever had.
It is.
Might be the biggest hockey guest we've had on the network.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Does Mark Messier count?
This person is bigger than Mark Messier.
Did we run any Mark Messier clips on this, or did we just talk about that?
Yeah, no, we played the audio where he was like, I don't remember. Thanks, Mark, as always.
Yeah, we got to dig that up.
Can you tell the story for everybody?
Yeah.
We got a lot of new listeners since that moment.
Oh my God.
That's way back when.
So the original story is, this is even before I worked at Sportsnet, like a few weeks before I worked at Sportsnet, but I went to a Rogers event. Mark Messier was there, and I thought it'd be funny. I thought I'd be able to get a viral photo of him. They had these Stanley Cup cookies, and I thought it'd be funny to get a picture of him holding one above his head, which anyone who has any fun bones in their body would be like, yeah, sure. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I said, okay. And then later,
years later,
Nick Kyprios comes on our show.
Yeah.
And he was great.
He was
great. I know some people like him. I know some people really don't like him.
The stories were amazing.
Go and look at the comments. A lot of people are like, fuck, I like Nick Kyprios now. He told an amazing story of going to the China Club, which is a famous club in New York, with the Blues. Or no, Capitals. He went with the Capitals.
Mm-hmm.
And not being able to get in, and it took them forever, and they had to grease the bouncer, give them a bunch of money, and they got in, and they're like, whoa, we're so cool. Later, he goes to the China Club with the Rangers, and they see Messier straight in, they get a table, and at some point during the night, a bouncer goes to Mark Messier and goes, hey, Moose, we got the St. Louis Blues outside. Messier looks at his watch and goes, another 45 minutes. Power.
Oh, yeah.
Power. And we looked up the roster of the guys he made wait outside. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's like Brett Hull, Curtis Joseph, Brendan Shanahan.
Yeah. Who knows who went out that night from the team, but there were some big names that could have been outside the door.
Al McInnes.
That Messier said, keep them out for a little.
45 minutes.
And then?
Right. Sorry, I forgot the whole point of the story. Then a few weeks later, I was at a Hockey Hall of Fame event.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a stamp unveiling or something.
And it wasn't it was literally a few weeks. It wasn't even that too far after Kyprios told the story.
That's why, it was relevant to the audience. You were in the same room as Mark Messier. You got to ask him about the China Club story. And I asked him.
And
there's a great photo someone took of me asking Mark Messier this question. And longtime reporter Dave Stubbs is in the background of the photo, and you can see him looking at me like he's not answering this fucking question. And I just go, yeah, Nick Kypreos told this story about the China Club and whatever. And he just goes, oh, did he? No, I don't remember.
And that
I was
it.
like, really? You don't remember? No, I don't remember.
Sentence.
And he walked away.
Yep.
I was like, cool. Like, and Steve, how dare you ask Mark Messier? Dude, like, I spoke to Guy Lafleur that day.
It was this stamp unveiling at the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Do you know, like, the legends I've spoken to and, like, asked silly questions of? Johnny Bauer spit out his teeth in the middle of an answer at one of those stamp unveilings. It might have even been that day, or it might have been at a different one. I go, excuse me, Mr. Bauer. He's in his 90s at this point. This is very shortly before he died. And I go, I'd love to ask you a couple questions if I could. I don't even remember what they were. And he goes, okay, limit it to 2 because I had dental surgery yesterday. And I don't know what to do with that information. So I go, okay, but he told me 2, so I'll ask 2. He gives me answer number 1, and on the last syllable of answer number 1, his top row of teeth came out. And then he just pops them back in and goes, all right, what's number 2?
Wow.
Like, and I remember going, like, I was so
Mark
flustered.
Messier twice gave you nothing.
Yeah.
And not even like a nice nothing. Not even like that Kipper, he's always telling stories. Who knows if that's true? He gave you
nothing. Dude, I've spoken to Steve Yzerman, Scotty Bowman, Wayne Gretzky, although it wasn't really a formal interview. Like, I have spoken to some big Guy Lafleur, Phil Esposito, Messier, jack shit. Twice. Jack shit twice. The first one was a photo with a cookie. Whatever.
Do you remember when Connor McDavid was just getting in the league and he and Messier did that Rogers commercial together?
Sort of.
It's like, because he's like, and it's like, it's super set up like
they're watching
Connor's,
TV, right?
No, Connor's driving to the rink and Messier's calling him and like, "Hey, good luck, Connor."
I think I remember
the best wife, the best coverage in the nation, whatever. And it was just like, it was a hokey Rogers commercial, right? Like, whatever. Yeah, whatever. And so part of that was that Mark Messier had to do like a press tour, and Breakfast Television is run by Rogers.
You interviewed him.
So I interviewed Mark. Well, they had him on with Dina, and what I would do, I would get him for Channel 1. So we would record the interviews right after the BT interview. So he's just done an interview.
He doesn't give a shit.
And then he's like, and he's just an interview with an actual star. And then here's this fucking mid-20s.
He doesn't give a shit.
And he was like,
oh, I love it.
And I would like, and I don't even remember what I asked him, but I remember being like, this is fart noises. Like, there's nothing here.
No.
But we still ran the shit out of the clips because you just run them anyway. Yeah. But there was no... But you can't get tangent.
Jesse Pollock asked him to do something fun on a red carpet, and he just went, nope, bye.
Yeah. And it went viral because Jesse Pollock got shut down. It was like, Jesse Pollock's such a fun-loving guy.
And it's so dry that I was like, is this staged? Like, is this brilliant by Jesse?
That's Mark.
But for years, for like a decade, Mark Messier was the Lay's chip guy.
Yeah.
Before
he got paid to do
before Drew Doughty did it, it was Mark Messier.
Yeah, he was paid to do it though.
And he was fun in those commercials.
Paid to be fun.
It just didn't translate to real life.
Unless you handed him a lot of cash, you go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And like the great thing about it is I don't feel like any sort of guilt. I experienced this. This is how, like, sometimes just like you feel a bit guilty if you've never had a direct conversation with the person, or maybe they were having a bad day. But Steve's had it twice. I've had it once, and I've talked to several other people. Jesse Pollock's another one. But other people that have said, yeah, no, you'll get nothing. That's just who this guy is.
I have had a number of interactions with NHL players where they were super icy, and I was like, it's just a bad day. And
and that happens.
Next time I talk to them, they're amazing, or like sometimes off the mic, they're really bubbly, and then on the mic, not so much, because they're a little bit more guarded. Or no, Messier is the only guy to this day where I'm like, you're kind of a jerk.
But if Mess ever liked you and he decided to tell the stories, what an interview that would be.
I want him on the show now.
Oh, me too. But I just want to do it. Like, is there anybody we can call to be like, hey, these guys are okay?
Alan.
You think Alan knows Messier?
I don't know. He knows Ken Dryden. He knows Bruce Springsteen.
No, he doesn't. He knows Bruce Springsteen's drummer.
Good enough.
I don't think he knows Bruce.
Good enough.
Okay.
He might not know him, but he's paid to see him a lot, and that should count.
Hey, if you think you know which way it's going to go, And maybe you think you do. Maybe you're like Jesse and you're like, Ryan O'Reilly is going to be a Leaf. And we're like, Jesse, what do you know?
You did sort of nail that.
I wish I bet on it.
I don't like that song.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I don't like that at all.
That is a weird thing. Anyway, you can
like
you can lay down your knowledge. Sports Interaction, pre-game, live and play, one of the many prop bets, and of course, there's trade deadline stuff. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. If you want to bet, see all that sports betting has to offer. sportsinteraction.com/STPN. Or in Ontario, you can download the app using the QR code on your screen. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, listen, we talk about mental health all the time. It's extremely important that you take care of yourself. You take care of your body, you take care of your mind, and then the rest sort of takes care of itself. And one of the things I think I want to ask you, because I remember, and I hope I'm not getting too personal, but I can remember myself here, I was reserved about going to therapy, and then I was reserved about going back to therapy, even though I knew I needed it again.
I was reserved about both those things, and then reserved about telling anyone about it.
Right.
Even.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole thing that BetterHelp is trying to do here is the barriers to therapy can be a lot. It can be costly. It can be hard to find a therapist. And maybe if you're matched with the therapist, maybe you don't vibe with them, because that does matter.
It does.
BetterHelp gets you matched with somebody in like a couple of days, and you can talk to them any way that you want. It can be text, it can be video chat, it can be on the phone, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper than many other places that you would get it. So the call to action here is we want you to live an empowered life. Therapy can help get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/SDP to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/SDP. So I want to know what you think about this. How do you feel about Nashville getting a new head coach?
They got a new head coach?
No, but they might be. And Jeff Merrick mentioned this.
Okay.
And who would you want to host or to do the Nashville Predators? Who would you want to coach them if it wasn't their current?
Is it Laviolette still?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's John Hines.
Oh, John Hines.
Yeah.
Also, Laviolette's in Washington.
Right.
Yeah. What's wrong with John Hines? Why are we firing John Hines?
Apparently, they want to change.
So
why?
Here's why they want to change.
Boyle's a madman.
Here's why they want to change. I can figure it out right now. So they bought this summer, right? They did lose Nino Niederreiter free agency, but they traded for Ryan McDonough. They just locked up Philip Forsberg. They have one of the best goalies in the league in UC Saros. And there was the threat, sort of, from David Poile of, well, maybe we need to be sellers at this deadline. So today, for my own entertainment, I went and looked at the Predators and asked myself, well, who would they trade? And almost nobody is a pending free agent.
Yeah, they've all got long-term deals. And
yeah, so the reason I think they're looking at potentially getting a new coach is Poile believes in this team. He locked in this team, and now they're pretty mediocre and / kind of stink.
Okay, so who would they get
to coach them?
Who makes sense?
I mean, someone.
What kind of style?
Okay, Nashville has notorious. Don't you dare! I just realized what you're going to say. I was going to talk about using Philip Forsberg as a weapon, but Nashville historically has been a defense first team, and you're going to friggin' say Barry Trotz.
Who Jeff Merrick said.
Oh my God!
Imagine 20 years of Barry Trotz, and now he's back. He was there for 20 years.
He got hired and fired by the same GM, if that happens.
Because
Poile's been there the entire time.
Mm-hmm. He's never
since 1997.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Man.
Okay, Poile's career with the Nashville Predators has been longer than Joe Thornton's entire NHL playing career, starting from the day he was drafted. That's unbelievable. Oh my God, Barry Trotz does make some sense.
So with the Barry Trotz thing, I thought he wanted to get a job in upper management if he was coming back with Nashville.
I think he would be
That was the rumor during the summer.
He would be able to probably have more control than, say, the first time around. Like, Poile is the president and general manager. I'm sure there could be some power sharing. You can give people titles and a different setup.
But is it like Poile just becomes president and then Trotz is GM?
Poile's in his,
and then you leave John Hines?
Is David Poile not in his mid-70s?
That's possible.
Like, he is...
Yeah, age... like, with these guys...
He's 73 years old.
Doesn't
he
matter.
may be wanting somebody to be like, okay, who do I trust to take over this? This is my baby. I've been here since 97.
NHL executives don't know how to retire. They don't.
No.
They've got to have some of the oldest leadership in professional sports.
At some point, man, wouldn't you just want to like retire and go golfing?
Yeah.
Like, also, you're a millionaire.
They have a president. It's not Poyle. It is, what was his name? Sean Henry, president of the Nashville.
That was a recent story too, wasn't it?
I'm sure they could make something work.
Yeah. I don't know. I always thought Trotz would come back in upper management role and not really coach.
Well, he was going to be the coach in Winnipeg. That was part of the deal.
Yeah, but then he didn't.
That's very important.
That's a very
important note. Is that he didn't.
Excellent point. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a bit of a barn burner. LA versus Anaheim.
David Poyle is president of hockey operations.
Yes.
And then there's a president of just the Nashville Predators. So yeah, he could relinquish the president of hockey operations job title.
There could be something.
That's very true, yeah.
So I guess Phoenix Copley got a bench minor for leaving his crease. And blocker punched one of the players. And
John Gibson went to center ice.
Yes. Now, what was funny was John Gibson went to center ice, and the Anaheim Ducks said Phoenix Copley didn't want the smoke. And then the LA Kings tweeted back at the Anaheim Ducks and said, Phoenix Copley has as many wins as you have all season.
Oh! Feisty.
The admins are going at it, baby.
I feel like they don't do that unless it's a divisional rival.
Oh,
and a California rival too.
When they do.
Yeah, no.
The California teams have good admins, good social media peeps.
Wait.
Stop. No.
No, I can't just leave that.
What is it?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
What are you looking at?
That guy's one of the owners of the Preds?
Who, Brett Wilson?
Yeah, like
the guy from Calgary. Yeah,
Shark Tank / absolute asshole on Twitter.
Yeah,
is he? I don't know his Twitter profile.
Yeah. No, it's not Brett. It's W. Brett Wilson.
Yeah, W. Brett Wilson. Yeah,
what?
They have a lot of.
I didn't know
they have a lot of minority owners.
Yeah,
I was just looking at it.
And but he was also part of the crew that was trying to get. And I don't know if he was involved in Nashville at the time, but he was part of the crew that was trying to get Nenshi in Calgary kicked out so they could get the public. Oh, yeah, he was tweeting about it. So they could get the public to pay for their new arena.
Jesus.
You ever like something and then find out a bad thing about something and you like it less? The Preds.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
The Predators on their website, they have a list of their owners, and they have many minority owners, and W. Brett Wilson is amongst them.
Okay, now I got a question. Question.
Boo.
All right. It's a quiz time.
Okay.
What else happened in the NHL this weekend, major event-wise?
Duffy?
Yeah, I am. I'm quizzing you. Hey, it's the quiz. We've been doing this for 25 years, and everybody pretends to like it. We all hate it.
We need a llama.
Yeah. You can't do that. We're going to use that clip 40 times.
There was an outdoor game.
Bingo.
Gun to my head. Don't know who won.
I was going to ask.
What's the question?
Who played at the outdoor game this weekend?
Oh, Washington, Carolina.
There you go.
Yeah, we've been
Steven,
through that.
You know what's funny? We have been through this. I was going to say Washington, New Jersey.
Oh my god. No. The thing about fucking outdoor games, nobody nationally cares about it. The TV product has lost its novelty, but locally, the people in Raleigh came out and they love that shit.
Do.
I believe
Shout out them.
No, they're great local events.
Yeah, and they dominated the game too.
Yeah.
They're garbage like national events.
But they're also like the other thing is that they're not really supposed to be anything other than a local event. Like I think when the first ones happened, you were like, wow, that's crazy.
We're holding it to the standard of the first ones.
Yeah,
the one really in Edmonton, like who was the goalie with the toucan?
Jose Taylor.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Great.
Yeah.
It was great. And it was worth it because it was new.
Yeah, but now it's just sort of like, here's what Boston looks like outside. Here's what Chicago. Raleigh looks like outside.
And
here's Chicago.
They're wearing
Chicago. Here's a little bit more Chicago.
They're wearing the old baseball uniforms.
Oh,
they come out.
Get out of here. Whoa. It's like
this one's in California. Bet you didn't think that was ever going to happen. And then it did.
Yeah. I am not down with shitting on the outdoor games as much as the All-Star game. The All-Star game could be improved. The outdoor games are what they are. And when you go, it's fun. unless you're freezing your tits off like I was.
Snow pants.
Absolutely.
You have
frozen.
to wear snow pants.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody cared last year when we had it in Hamilton.
No,
like,
I
it
don't
was a
give a
big
shit.
deal for us.
Yeah.
Like, we all went and we had a good time there.
Yeah.
And we saw Willow Smith.
Adam and I did.
We did. We saw
Jesse
Willow
and I
Smith.
were at Willow Smith. We caught a vibe.
Have we ever told the story how we got out of the stadium and then back into the stadium?
No, we never have. We never have. We were so
we walked out of
Wait, was I there for this or was I still working?
So first off, I want to say that Jesse got us wristbands to the Willow Smith concert, which was a TikTok live concert.
Because I was doing influencing for the outdoor game for Molson Canadian.
So you know those concerts where you see someone performing and then there's a big raucous crowd in front of them and none of them are 6'5"? Well, Jesse decided
there's Jesse's like head above everybody else. It was hilarious. And so we we see Kaylee Sibley from Sportsnet,
absolutely,
who is running the Twitter account and the Instagram account, and she
was not 6'5",
who was not 6'5". She is shorter than I am.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Hey guys," gave us a big hug, and then like we were all going down the steps together, right beside the rink where the players are getting on, and out comes Willow Smith, and she was actually really good. Like I was like, Jesse, what are we expecting here? He's like, I don't know, she's got some good songs. And then she came out and she rocked it. I was like, man, you're good. That was fun. And then they're like, okay, everybody, all of you crowd people, because it's when they do the Super Bowl or whatever, it's a crowd that's like, you're paid to be there.
Yep.
Yes.
You're paid to go like this.
Whoa!
The wacky waving inflatable arms, whatever. Except for me, I was just Jesse's +1. And so they're like, okay, everybody, come on through this hallway. And they took us to a gymnasium across the street underneath it, right?
Yeah, because so they ushered the crowd off of the field, in through the back, through the tunnel, and we think, okay, we're going back around to the like complex where they have all the like you can shoot targets and all the promotion tents, and then back to the stands where you can actually watch the game.
This is at a football stadium in Hamilton.
Yes, but
For
the
hockey.
crowd that was watching the Willow Smith game, they didn't also get tickets to the game.
No.
They were just volunteers who got to be a part of that moment. And then the stage direction people and the directors, they were ushering them out of the stadium to leave and wait for the end of the game or whatever they were doing next.
I think they were getting on like a bus and going home.
Yeah, they were just kind of leaving. But we were a part of that crowd, not realizing that we were being ushered out of the stadium to get on the volunteer bus to leave. So we end up in this community center across the street.
And I'm like, Jesse, why are we here? Like,
How do I not know this story?
It took like 10 minutes of us. We went to the washroom. We're like chilling. We're like, okay, so when are we going back to the stadium? We started asking people, and they're like, oh no, we don't have tickets to the game. That was our whole job here, to be the crowd for the Willow Smith concert.
And you're like, we do.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So we were standing at the gate to where you go back into the stadium. We're like, do we buy tickets just to go back in? Like, what do we do?
Scalper tickets
we were
or
looking
something.
on Ticketmaster at the resales to be like, okay, we need to get back in. So we go to the guy who's doing checking the tickets, and you do the turnstile and everything.
Yeah.
And we just explained to him what happened. And he's like, all right, just come here.
we showed him our tickets.
We
We're like,
showed him
do
our
have
wristbands from the thing. We showed him that, like, I'm here. I have tickets. They're very close. Like, they're up in the stands. We're supposed to be there. And he's like, okay, because our tickets were already scanned, right? To
Dude,
get
I
in the
didn't
first
know
time.
Yeah, we never told you. I don't know why not. But
No, we must have told you that day what had happened. You probably just forgot.
I think you were just
How do we
too
not
busy
tell you the
shivering
story?
because your pants were
Anyway,
ripped.
so
you definitely didn't tell me
the
the
dude's
story.
like, yeah, here, just check everything looks good. Go through. Yeah, I believe you. You know, so we
my
went back
God.
in and we watched the game.
Only you guys.
Yeah.
Only you guys.
Yeah, for a second there, we thought we had to buy another set of tickets. Well, buy tickets to get back into the stadium.
I know, and I was
And you were going to do it?
I was so desperate. I wanted to go back in.
What were we going to do? Go home?
Yeah, like, because we also had to drive you, and then we ended up driving Mike Stevens home, too.
Oh, yeah. Mikey rode with us.
Mikey's a fun guy to have in the car.
Oh, yeah.
He's
That was fun.
he's a riot to have in the car.
We were crying, laughing at a couple things.
A couple moments for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's always got good stories too. Yeah, Jesse and I had an adventure. We ran into Steve. We ran into some other people.
I ran into my grade 3 teacher.
Did you?
Mrs. Volpe. Hi, Mrs. Volpe.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Very
Living in
nice.
Hamilton now, or just?
I don't know. We didn't get that far.
We got to experience a stadium that we now despise because
I fucking hate that
it's
stadium.
inside of like a suburb, like what do you call it? A subdivision?
Which is
You know,
fine, but like, why can't I take a pee? Why can't I pee there?
You're on like the second row of like the upper deck, and you can see into people's houses.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind that. I like that. I like it that it's in a neighborhood. I don't mind that.
I would if I was the homeowner.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
not
like
enough washrooms.
Not enough washrooms. What the fuck is going on at Tim Hortons Field?
Yeah.
I stood there for an hour.
You
in
missed
the
entire second period.
Yes. And I was talking to people who were listeners of the podcast in front of me and behind me. One couple, really nice couple in from Newfoundland. And they were like in their they're in their outdoor gear, like their skidoo gear. Like they were really smart, right? You get your fucking warm shit on.
Yep.
And I'm freezing and I'm wearing running shoes like an idiot.
Also, being freezing makes you have to go to the bathroom more.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And the beer. The beer didn't help.
I wanted to have a beer and I had the beer and then I was like, okay. No.
I just keep hearing rookie stories because dude,
shut up.
No, because when I go to these events, like not only do I want to watch the game, but like I'm also working.
Mm-hmm.
So like I definitely can't go to the bathroom. So I just like on game days like that, I just don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
I just won't drink anything. And that's why like, all right, let's go back to the car. Actually, can we stop at a convenience store and get water immediately? Can we do that, please?
Yeah.
Also, I haven't peed in
Yeah, you're
10 hours.
dehydrated, but it's on purpose, so you don't have to stop doing your job and everything.
Yeah.
Wait those long bathroom lines. And we ran into
Also, I'm wearing snow pants.
TJ, your former co-host of Virgin Morning. His brother was there. Like it was, and I think the whole point of this story is that outdoor games are a fun time. We just went through
had an adventure.
We just had so many stories from this one day, and that's what you get to experience at these outdoor games. But like the TV product, who cares?
There's also just people who become famous at the game. Like, hey, that's the guy who blank. And at the one that I went to in Boston, there was a dude who had a mural tattoo of Bobby Orr scoring that famous goal where he's flying on his back.
Damn.
Across his entire back. So this dude's just like walking around and like people are asking to take pictures and everyone's just like, that's the Bobby Orr tattoo guy. And then someone was like pointing at him and making fun of him and some other guy goes, hey, fuck off. And hey, I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, you were. I saw you. Oh, God, Boston. What a magical place.
Boston does rule. It's a lot of fun. I hate it.
Yeah, the NHL is going to keep doing it because I guess they're good cash cows too.
Oh, yeah.
We feel double the 40,000 people is not bad. You know?
In Michigan, what was there? 52? 53,000?
Wait, for the Leafs Red Wings one?
Leafs,
or was that more than
it was like 100,000.
Oh, that's because it's the big Michigan Stadium.
Yeah.
Did you go to that one?
I did not. I was at a friend's cottage and I played pond hockey for the first time that day.
Oh,
and we watched the game on delay. And I avoided spoilers, but I misread a spoiler. So when the Leafs won, I was genuinely surprised.
Because you thought they'd lost.
I thought they lost.
Okay.
I knew that they blew the lead, and I was like, oh, damn it. And then it went to the shootout, and Bozak won it.
Yeah.
And then the game ended, and I was like, oh, okay. Neat.
Great.
They won. Hooray.
So just to switch gears here, John Tortorella had himself a weekend. I want to start with this clip where he talks about what the media is like in Vancouver. And it's a John Tortorella press conference.
Interesting.
Jesse's got it here. And then I want to talk about something that happened last night as well.
Did they play Vancouver?
They played Vancouver. They're playing Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton. They're doing their swing.
I was like, what? How did that even come up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So this John Tortorella clip.
Right. And I like this because I do, again, feel like it's John Tortorella being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know what your thoughts are on this. And I also feel like if he were the head coach in Montreal, how would he do, given how intense their media is, French more than English, even?
Bro,
I loved it here. The fans were fantastic. You guys in the media were idiots, as far as I was concerned. But the fans, the city, being out in the city, it's such a beautiful city. The building, I loved it here.
Just the media ratings?
What's that?
Just the media ratings?
The media, yeah, I'm not sure who's still out here now in the group, but there were a couple of beauties when I were here. So, but I guess that's all part of your job, right? And I was here a year, right?
Yeah.
And my wife and I, the players, I love being here, but a few other people didn't like me here, so we had to leave. I love it.
Yeah, you tried to fight an opposing coach like immediately. It was on camera, John. Oh, did they blow that out of proportion, John? You ever notice the people who hate the media are fucking idiots? Who do fucking idiot things? Do you ever notice that?
I mean, it tends to be that way, but
yeah, I can't believe I am being held to account. No, they should have been nicer to you because the Canucks were really good when you were there. They were really good.
They could have been good. They had the talent.
Yeah, scratch the long time starter in the outdoor game.
So then they
wasn't outdoors.
So then they get to Calgary.
Yeah.
Then they get to Calgary.
Oh, I bet he liked them.
Travis Sanheim, who played for the Hitmen, who is from Manitoba, had a bunch of family in attendance. He took warm-up and was promptly scratched. And I want to remind you that he is in the first year of an 8-year, $50 million extension that he signed opening night.
Doesn't it start next year?
Oh, does it start next year? I thought it was.
I think it starts next year.
Oh, okay. Well, either way. He's got all his family there. Played junior there.
You know, I appreciate that he's really doing his best to erase his reputation as a player's coach. You know, a likable player's coach. I don't know. I'm not sure he likes this hockey thing very much anymore. Doesn't it always feel like he's being bothered?
Well, I had a look at Travis Sanheim's game before, and he played a pretty good game, and it seems like he played a good game the night before. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, he's just taking one of his dogs and rubbing their nose in it.
Well, is it establishing that like nobody's safe here?
I don't care what it is. I'm so disinterested in John Tortorella.
Really? Well, I'm going to keep bringing him up then.
No, you should. You should. No, this guy, one of the most quotable guys like ever, has turned into one of the least interesting people.
Why is it? Is it just because it's predictable?
Yes. What's his take on this? I bet it's grisly and dismissive.
So don't bring it up unless it's something else. Like if John Tortorella is sunshine and rainbows, then I bring it?
I don't know. Like, I bet he didn't like the reporter here.
Okay, all right.
No, the guy's such a media critic for a guy who's failed at every media job he's had. He's failed. He's not good at it. And executives keep going, yeah, but he was good 15 years ago. He's not anymore. I'm not interested in John Tortorella. Boo, fart. Go talk about how fun things are bad and bad things are fun. Fuck you.
From Mike in my DMs, guys, I'm at a London Knights game, and the one linesman's name is Scott Boston.
No way!
Yeah, he said, so close to being a perfect SDPN moment.
No way! No, Scott Boston's good.
Yeah, Scott Boston is a real person.
Where's he from?
Linesman, I don't know. Scott Boston.
There's someone listening going, it'd be better if he was Irish Boston. I love that.
There is also a Boston Scott who is at a running back for the Eagles and the Rams, it looks like. But
Scott. Boston Scott's better.
Ref.
That's a better name.
Boston Scott's a very famous running back. It might be the same. He's 51. Scott Boston from Ottawa, Ontario. He played in the... AHL? Never played in the NHL. Only made it to the AHL for the St. John's Maple Leafs. Played in Rochester Americans a couple times.
He played for the Ottawa Senators of the CJHL.
Yeah, no NHL experience, but a lot of AHL and ECHL games. This might be the same Scott Boston.
Maybe it is. I can't find anything else, any other reference to it. But Scott Boston, linesman, OHL.
Retired in 2001 from the Tacoma Sabercats of the WCHL.
What a good name, Sabercats.
Unreal name.
That's a great
good sports name, yeah. It's nothing like the Wildcats, though.
No, or the Sabres.
When the Wildcats play the Wildcats.
He's got like that semi-turtleneck.
From Ben, funny hockey story for you this morning. On Saturday, the ECHL's Norfolk Admirals had to postpone their game with the Worcester Nailers after the first intermission because... Complete this sentence. Jesse and Steve.
Power outage.
Good one, Jesse.
Give it to me again. I'm watching Scott Boston fight Ty Domi.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You think it's the same Scott Boston?
Scott Boston fought Ty Domi when he played for the Belleville Bulls versus the Peterborough Petes in the OHL.
And he's wearing Cooperalls.
I want to hold on. Let me find out what year this is. What year did he play for the Belleville Bulls?
It has to be in the late 80s.
Somewhere around 88 to 92
wow.
is when Scott Boston played for the Belleville Bulls.
I think Domi was drafted by the Leafs in like 89.
Okay, so there must have been 88.
Yeah, he was in the NHL by the 90s, I'm pretty sure. He's wearing Cooper. He's so much bigger than Domi.
It's a pretty good scrap, too. I could probably show this because it's such an old YouTube video.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to...
Hockeyfightsvideo.com.
How do they get the rights to that? How do hockey fights do that?
They just
This is from a VHS tape that they've digitally converted. Look at the timers on the
I wouldn't even know how to
screen.
do that. I don't even know what you.
This
I guess
is intense.
Ty Domi, like he's having a casual chat with the bench while he's fighting. Oh my God!
Scott Boston's like twice his size too. I don't know if you saw that.
That dude was screaming, like mid-fight, screaming at, I don't even know who because the bench is the other way, turns back around and just pops Scott Boston with one of the most gruesome uppercuts I've seen in a while. Oh my God, what a lunatic.
I hope this is the same guy.
I hope it is
the
too.
same linesman in the
I hope so,
OHL
too.
game. Like,
It looks like the
Scott
Bruins of the early
Boston.
90s missed their chance.
Oh my God, Domi had that death grip even back then, eh?
Look
at him,
yeah,
look at him.
he's yelling at
yapping, and then watch, his arm comes loose. Woof!
Ty Domi was a menace. From
Scott
Ben.
Boston.
Okay, so
Keep it
Saturday
going.
night, the ECHL's Norfolk Admirals had to postpone their game against the Worcester Nailers after the first intermission because Steve says power outage. Jesse, what do you say?
Flooding.
Flood, like
flooding.
water.
Yeah, there's flooding on the ice. They couldn't play.
You're closer. It's lack of flooding. Both their ice resurfacing machines broke.
Oh God.
Yeah, so
What?
Zambonis.
this wouldn't be nearly as bad normally, but the Admirals had season high attendance that night. That's a dang it.
It is a dang it.
Also,
Jesse said Zambonis. And this is my favorite thing. Whenever these machines break down, people go, oh, the Zamboni of this arena broke down. And then the Zamboni company furiously tweets, that's an Olympia, not a Zamboni.
Mm-hmm. It's Kleenex.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's two major ice resurfacing companies, Zamboni and Olympia.
Yeah. So they have to call it an ice resurfacing machine, which isn't a common term in hockey. They're called
Zamboni.
fucking Zambonis.
We just
but
say Zamboni.
They're not called Zambonis.
And it's Olympia!
Unless it's a Zamboni.
Shut up, it's
Unless
Olympia!
it's a Zamboni.
Yeah.
So both of their ice
It's resurfacing
resurfacing
machines.
Zambonis broke. Damn.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
And they couldn't
That is
fix
funny.
it? They couldn't call
I
a guy?
guess they couldn't.
Nobody
And I
in
thought,
the-
I'm like, is the ice that bad? Do you not just play?
No, you got to Zamboni the ice. They're playing,
All right,
they're
all
playing,
right. All right, yeah.
they're playing hockey.
Playing hockey.
Talking about.
From Will, hey Adam, love the podcast and SDPN, but the conversation you guys had Friday about Toronto food, like Toronto only food, made me cringe a little bit because Toronto does have its own specialty foods.
Like
And
what?
I'm like, okay, Will, what do you got? And he's like, Toronto was the birthplace of. Can you name it?
Basketball.
No, hockey, or like food wise.
I don't know.
Guess something. It's actually
Beaver tails.
I've seen you eat it. Is it not beaver
I know
tails,
it's
but that's a
not,
good one. But
but-
yeah,
Churros.
not churros. Pea-meal bacon.
Really?
Yeah, he said, which is
Okay.
arguably the best pork product out there.
And
He said, if your listener wants Toronto food, go to the St. Lawrence Market, find the Carousel Bakery, and get the pea-meal bacon sandwich. It's a life changer. I've had it. It's
I've had that
outstanding.
too.
Talked about it on this show.
It's outstanding.
we've all had that.
So
it's delicious.
a little history corner for you.
Since when has Toronto ever claimed that as a Toronto thing?
We should though.
It's not
we
known
should.
for it.
It is. Well, it's not known for it, but it is.
We know it as a Canadian thing.
So in
Yeah.
the late 1800s, Toronto was known as Hogtown because every Saturday, pig farmers would drive their pigs down Yonge Street, which was a muddy street, and they would leave a disgusting. Pig farms stink. I don't know if you've ever been near one, but they stink. And Toronto would stink too. Legend has it that one prolific producer in the Victorian era, William Davies, invented pea-meal bacon, initially using ground dried peas as a crust to preserve the pork a few days longer, and that is where pea-meal bacon was born.
The area that is now Liberty Village, that used to be all industrial areas,
Right.
and the pig slaughter building was there, and it kind of is still there in terms of the construction of the building. I'm pretty sure
it is still there.
Yeah, and that whole place used to just reek.
Yeah. Gross.
But now it's like this very it's soda sopa.
Oh, it is soda
It
sopa
is soda
for
sopa
sure.
now. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody, two people, like young couple, newly married, and a dog.
And
Small
a coffee
dog.
shop called Balzac's.
Yeah,
Right. It's
very
actually good coffee there.
It is.
But
I like saying it.
nobody says, "Oh, Toronto pea-meal
I
bacon."
know. Don't you feel like we should own that a little more? Like, one thing I'll
Probably.
say is that Torontonians know dick all about the history of this city. What do you
I
know
know.
about the history of this city beyond the 1970s?
Nothing.
Fucking nothing.
Nothing.
We don't do any of that. Like New Yorkers are like, oh, that's from New York, and that's from New York, and Chicago's like that,
Yeah.
LA's like that. We do nothing in Montreal's like that. We do nothing in this
We
city
do
to
that
celebrate
with
anything.
Drake, and that's it.
Well, we got Drake and Bieber. We count them because Stratford's far enough. And Sean Mendes. I just feel like in the weekend, I just feel like we ought to own some of this stuff a little bit.
Whenever I was a kid and I saw the pictures of the CN Tower being built, I would always like look at the area around it and how there was nothing there and go, feels like there's you missed a few things you should tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's nothing there. It's full of shit now. Please explain.
There used to be a golf course, a 9-hole golf course in that area.
Yep.
Around the CN Tower.
The neighborhood where I grew up, which is like a well built up huge suburban area with a train line going through it, was an apple orchard like 3 years before I was born.
Where we are, how far are we from the arena from here, like which is in the downtown?
Scotiabank.
Yeah.
Drive
in non-traffic.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Like 15
non-traffic?
Oh, 15 minutes. Yeah, you zip over.
Yeah,
But
like
there's
I got to work this morning at 5 a.m. in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And that my work is downtown.
Because you leave at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
There's no traffic.
Nobody's here. So I want you to imagine a horse racing and betting track in like this neighborhood that we're in right now is where the original Woodbine racetrack was.
What?
And so they have off-track betting.
That's
just
why
down
it's
the
called
street.
Woodbine.
But then they have the,
I'm so stupid.
Now they have it in Rexdale, and it's still called Woodbine.
Yeah,
which is really confusing. But this was the horse race for like 100 years. This was where the horse race track was, and then they tore it down to build a neighborhood.
I'm so dumb.
Is it Dundas? Is about from Dundas? Is that where the entire south part of Toronto is man-made? Because
no, Esplanade down.
Esplanade
literally means against the water or some sort of there's some sort of word. But the Esplanade in Toronto is where the water line used to come to.
A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of Toronto is made up by just construction.
Yes.
It's that part isn't actually land. It's been man-made land that was there originally. That's the water Lake Ontario used to come up to the Esplanade.
Yeah. And Manhattan, the same thing. Manhattan, same thing. There's a lot of man-made stuff there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they used to throw all their essentially.
It was the garbage.
It's garbage.
Yeah, it's what it was made with.
And you know where Harbor 60 is?
Yeah.
Do you know why they call it Harbor 60?
Harbor.
That was the customs exchange. So when your ship rolled up, you had to go to that building and pay your tax, and then you could bring your goods in. You could not offload your goods until you went lined up.
Isn't real. Lakeshore people made that. The city developed that area.
Yeah. And there's a whole part of the Toronto Island system that is also all garbage.
Yeah.
And if you go out there, people consistently find old newspapers, pottery, and that sort of thing from 150 years ago. And it still smells. Mm-hmm. It still smells a bit funny. It's a landfill.
And one thing that's happening in the East right now is they're kind of doing it again. They're
rebuilding the
a giant, huge park complex that's going to look so gorgeous. And I'm jealous of people who are born like 40 years after me. Because
it's not even going to start being finished until 10 years.
Exactly. Like they've just started this. This is a 25 year project. And it's going to look absolutely gorgeous down there. It's going to be a giant new waterfront that's just going to exist in the East End of Toronto.
It's like a big L shape.
All these condos and the what's the beach that's already down there that you drive down the Portland?
Oh, it's Cherry
Beach.
Yeah,
like Cherry Beach is gonna be more of a thing because now people can actually get there instead of this one road that currently exists.
Man, I used to cut through there. I used to cut through the Portlands all the time to avoid traffic because you could just there was nobody there. It was like, so essentially it's an industrial hub and all the industry left. It went to Burlington and Hamilton. So you could just blast through there at ridiculous speeds and nobody would be watching you. And I think it's interesting because what they're doing, they're having to dig down and shore up the land because it was all man-made and they just threw shit at the water. And so now they want to make sure that when they build condos out there that they're not going to lean in Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, they're not going to go into the water.
Yes.
Last summer, too, there was a big deal about the bridge that was being brought in for it. So they had, I don't know if you guys watched this on Twitter.
All I know about is the big rubber duck that visited from Nova Scotia.
That is that. But they shipped the bridge. I believe they built it in Nova Scotia. And they shipped the bridge and you could follow it on a live stream. And you could watch the bridge come across
and it's there
and be landed into Toronto. And it took the whole journey. And now it's there. Now our bridge is there. And they're slowly getting this whole thing together. Anyways, there's so much Toronto history that,
we don't know anything about our own city.
We suck as a city to be like, this is our city. This is all our stuff. And Like you said, New Yorkers, they're fucking fantastic with that kind of stuff.
Yes, and that's how you sell a city to tourism, right? You got to have what like you go to New York, you want a New York slice of pizza. You go to Chicago, you want Chicago style. You go to Detroit, you want Detroit style. That's just fucking pizza. Like we would lay claim, and people would hate this, but Hawaiian pizza was invented here.
Really?
In Southern Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now some people don't like Hawaiian pizza, and I get it. And so, but
it
you
can
may as
be
well
our
fucking
thing.
claim it. It could still be our thing.
Yeah.
A female bacon sandwich, you could sell that to anyone. That is so good.
Especially because there's a specific one in St. Lawrence Market that you could be like, go try that.
Yeah.
Even Montreal has that kind of shit. You know?
Montreal smoked meat.
Yeah. Like Toronto doesn't do that.
No, we got to do that. We got to do that. Got to own our shit, man.
We're the revolution. Let's start it.
Although,
the three of us
hanging our hat on
Get a
Hawaiian pizza, I
campaign.
gotta say, is risky.
Let's not.
We need a catchy hashtag.
Get to know T.O.
No.
Get to know T.O.
Cafe T.O.
Oh, God. What's the...
Do you remember Cafe T.O.?
Vaguely.
It's where they built all that because you couldn't go inside during COVID. So you could eat outside with your mask. You'd have to like pull your mask down, eat, and then put your mask back up. That was the actual regulation at the time. And so they built all these cafes on the streets.
And you're eating a car.
Yeah, they're like so all you got to do is pay mask, bite the burger, and then put your mask back on. And everybody's like, yeah, okay, cool, we'll do that.
Yeah, I was at a wedding and everyone followed the rules.
I bet they did. I bet they did.
Yeah.
Well, everybody playing soccer,
especially
in the
as
field.
they got drunker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? People are known to follow the rules more when they're drunk. I think. Now, should we do the press conference?
No, I was about to hit the button.
Oh, let's hit the button then.
All right.
I just wanted to read you some stuff from the DMs. There's some good DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, good thing we got 2 more shows this week on Thursday and on Friday.
That's right. We should mention that. And
I
CJ
did.
show out, and then another one Thursday, and there might be some bonus ones too.
Does he know that you said that information?
Yeah.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.